Hang in there. Big Sills, how you doing? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look at Chris. Come on, dog. You're late. Never late. I'm on Big Sills time. Remember that, Junior? Certain people are on their time. I'm on Big Sills time. And if I'm on Big Sills time, you're on Big Sills time. By the way, we got a great promotion for you guys today. I'll expand on it a little bit later. By the way, this is not for everyone. I'm looking for a select group of people that we're going to do this with. Okay? I'll expand towards the latter part. By the way, you know, I was a stockbroker at one time. Big Sills is going to double your money. Okay? And I'll explain. How you doing? That's what we do here, Junior. We inform and we help. Okay? We inform and we help. Like, I'm going to help Big Bill. Damn. I heard Merrill Reese. I wish he said that shit yesterday on my show. The reason they didn't bring Justin Fields in is because they didn't want to hear the chaos in the stands. Get Fields in. Get Fields in. Oh, that's kind of what I said. Don't let that guy look better in the Eagle offense. Holy cow. By the way, Xander, James, everyone, real quick. If you guys don't have a great 2024, there is going to be a bloodbath of coaching firings. A bloodbath of firings. If you don't win, let's throw that out there. How you doing? Right? Woo! This bad puppy's going to be a lot of pink slips potentially going around. Oh, yeah. There'll be a bloodbath of firings. How you doing? Oh, man. You better win a lot of games. What are you laughing at, Rico? Merrill is just plain high. Oh, really? Hey, by the way, it looks like you're playing the Browns in the opener. Okay? You're playing the Browns? How many people think you could beat the Browns? Okay? How many people believe that the Eagles are better than the Browns? Okay? Do you believe you're better than the Browns? That's your opening game in Brazil. Okay? You think you're winning that game? You're getting the Cleveland Browns in the opener in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. Not worried about the Browns, says Chris. How about this one? So let me ask you something here. You'd be lining up against DeShaun Watson, Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, and David Njoku. Who's covering those guys? You lost to the shitty Cardinals and the Gigantes and the Seahawks. That's an upgrade there, guys. You think you're going to stop? Who's covering David Njoku? The great, the great Betty White or Devin White? Let me guess. I know who's covering them. Orenthal Burks. He's covering them. Is that right? Who's covering Amari Cooper? The greatness of James Bradbury? Different years, Sills. You got the same shitty players on defense. Isaiah Rodgers season, baby. Devin White. Holy, yeah, and get this, Jimmy Dean is going to be covering David Njoku. Holy cow. David Njoku gets Jimmy Dean covering him in coverage in Brazil. Okay, that guy will be a sauteed breakfast sausage by the end of the fourth quarter. How you doing? Come on now. Jimmy Nakobe Dean. Extra spicy sausage. He was a sausage last year, baby. Holy cow, what a shitty linebacker last year. Oh, but he'll be better this year because of the greatness of Vic Fangio. Okay, yeah. You're taking on DeShaun. You guys are going, Watson sucks. Oh, I forgot. You lost to Tyrod Taylor and Drew Lock. Okay. I wouldn't be throwing any haymakers at a quarterback and calling him he sucks. Your quarterback blew out loud the last 8 weeks of the season. So before you start barking like that, by the way, I can't believe all you guys get your panties in a bind. Because I said that Brock Purdy had the same talent on his team that Jalen Hurts had. It's just different. And yet here you go with your, Jalen's better. No, he's not. He hasn't proven shit that he's better than Purdy. Purdy's got a better win percentage. He's been to 2 straight NFC championship games. There's no nuclear meltdown. Hey, does he need players around him like Jalen does? Yeah. What's the difference? He's better. No, he's not. Brock Purdy went on a losing streak, but not like that. This guy got outplayed by Baker Mayfield, Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor, Drew Lock, and Zach Wilson. How's that possible? And you're an elite guy. Okay? How is that possible? Okay? He got outplayed by Zach Wilson, who's looking for a team. Come on, man. Your boy's not as good as you think he is. Jimmy Dean is going to be covering David Njoku. And then Bradbury's covering either Judy. And who's stopping Nick Chubb? Let me guess, your great run defense. Okay. All right. Holy cow, man. I can't wait to see this Browns offense versus your defense. And by the way, what team was number 1 in the NFL last year in defense? Can I ask you? Who finished the NFL number 1 in defense last year? Was it the Browns? Oh, wait a minute now. You lost your center, right? So, wait. They got that offense and the number 1 defense in the NFL. Is that right? Number 1 or number 2? Am I right when I say that? So the Browns have the number 1 defense in the NFL going against your offense, and they have that offense going against the worst defense. How do you think that's going to play out? We're better. Where? Where are you better? Where are you? Hey, Watson hasn't done shit since 2020. Frankie, you lost to Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson, Drew Lock. I don't give a shit what Watson has done. You lost to those nobodies. Chubb won't be healthy. You better hope he won't be. Get this. The Browns are better than you as a roster. They got how are you better when they have the number 1 defense in the league and the number 1 defensive player in the league? How are you better? And they've got a superior defensive coordinator who was named the NFL Assistant Coach of the Year. How are you better? How are you better? Holy cow. Keep bringing up 2 years ago, soul. Hey, you be sounding. Hey, pretty soon, Eagle fans will start sounding, Xander, pretty soon, you guys will start sounding like Jet fans and Met fans. 69, baby. Hey, 73, 69. Hey, 2000, you'd be sounding like Met fan. Yeah, it's kind of hard for the SNY network to keep, that stuff on a roll when you've only been to a few World Series when you're a Met fan, right, Jody? Oh, man. Woo! Hey, being a Jet and a Met fan, you love being tied to a chair and beaten more than being a Jet fan. Really, you could tie me to a chair and beat my ass for 4 hours before I'd be a Jet or Met fan. Mulata's going to pancake the defensive player of the year. Okay. Yeah. Myles Garrett's going to the Hall of Fame. Jordan Mailata is not. Okay? Sills, we can beat any team respectfully, but the right personnels, with the right personnels. Well, you don't have it. Your defense, you think your defense is going to stop the Browns offense. Oh, by the way, do the Browns have a play calling former NFL head coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski? Gee, there's another example of that. And as I move on to our topics now, they have Watson as their quarterback. Yeah, guy making $230 million. How you doing? Fully guaranteed. DeShaun Watson. I must think they're going to be all right this year. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Yeah. So wait a minute. Your defense can't stop anybody. Do you think you're really a Super Bowl contender? Holy shit. Yeah. This leads me to this. Okay. Why is Chip Kelly considered a better coach than Nick Sirianni? Why would I consider that? Why would I say that Chip Kelly was a better Eagle head coach than Nick? Why would I say that? I posted this on Twitter. I'm going to make the argument he's better than Nick. Nick's really 12-11. Chip Kelly's a better coach. Some of you are going, this is crazy. Oh, John. Ooh. Because you're not smart, this guy says. Nick can't play. Wow. I didn't realize that we would actually have some smart people in here. He was a good play caller. That's about it. I'm being stunned here. I'm really. So it always goes back to the 80s when he played in Miami. Like, when was that? Anyway. Chip thought for himself. Prince, I dislike when people compare Jalen and Purdy. While their offenses are similar, the 49ers were a more complete team due to their defense. I know this is content, but come on, man. The hate for Jalen. No, it's not hate. I don't give a shit about the guy either way, dude. You're missing it, Prince. I don't hate the guy. I don't like the guy. I wouldn't build my team. I've been consistent by saying I would never build my team around a quarterback like him or Lamar. I've made that very clear. Since day one, that hasn't and will not change. I don't think those guys have high ceilings. I just don't. Look at the numbers that Lamar Jackson won the MVP with this year. They're pedestrian. That's not good enough to win a Super Bowl. He can't win from the pocket. And when they tried to win from the pocket in the AFC Championship game, they lost to the Chiefs. He could not do it. Okay? Why is Chip Kelly a better coach than Nick Sirianni? Let's make it simple here. You guys are all going, I can't wait to hear this. Well, he actually had a job. He was a play caller. He had a job. And he wasn't horrible at it. He just didn't understand the NFL game. He thought he could do the same fundamental shit he did in college. Difference was he had 85 guys in college, and on an NFL Sunday, you have 53. A little different, dude. You can't try to get 85 plays in. You're going to wear your defense out. It wasn't really about wearing the offense out. It was wearing the defense out. The point is that your head coach that's now on Philly is the weakest link on your football team today. And it's why he'll get in the way of success this year. See, the Eagles kind of cleaned house. But they didn't get rid of the biggest issue, the head coach who has no job. Chip had a job. Like it or not. Good at it or not. There was clarity. You see, there's no clarity to Nick Sirianni's position with the Eagles now. I have never seen a coach on an NFL team that has no power, no say, no anything. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a job. And you know how you know he doesn't? One year they get to the Super Bowl, the next year they're a train wreck. That's when you know he had nothing to do with it. He had nothing to do with that Super Bowl. Zero. He had zero to do with the Super Bowl. Okay? That's right, Bob. Bob, by the way, I'm not saying he was good in Philly. I'm saying at least he had a job. Right or wrong, Chip had a plan. Nick runs Howie's plan. Bob, Xander, Bob's call is exactly the take I'm looking for. That is it, Bob. That is it right there with a bullseye 100. Bob Brown's best take since he's been on our program is right there. By the way, once again, I'm not sitting here trying to convince you, hey, we'd be better off with Chip today than, well, you would be better off with Chip today, but I don't like either guy. Way to go, Bob. Bob, that's a great take, dude. That's a great. Nick has no job. He has no job. So when everyone goes, Chip Kelly sucked. Okay. What's Nick's job? Coffee? What did he say? Sticking his head in the defense? Good grief. That guy sticking his head in on the defensive meetings? Please get out. Please get out. I think this guy will be the biggest issue. If the Eagles are going to be a playoff team and make a playoff push, I think the biggest problem that you have on the Philadelphia Eagles in 2024, I think it's Nick Sirianni. Sills, who's worse, Sirianni or Kotai? Hey, Kotai had a couple 11-win seasons, and he was the head coach and play caller. Dude, Sirianni's the worst coach that you have had, and even Ray Rhodes was better. Ray Rhodes was a former NFL Coach of the Year. Shit, I think he did it twice. I think he was was he not? Was Ray Rhodes the Coach of the Year in the NFL with the Eagles? Wasn't he the head coach? Didn't he win that award? I could have swore Ray Rhodes was an NFL Coach of the Year when he was with the when he was with the Eagles. Unless I mentioned, Sills, take on Davis has changed since the draft. What has changed on Davis? Nick is a puppet. Look at Dan here. Dan Sileo might be the worst because I point out that you have a useless coach. Really? Okay, Dan, what's his job? Hold on. Maybe I should have looked it up. How about I do that for old Danny boy over here? Because he says I'm the worst for actually, let's see. Did Ray Rhodes win the NFL Coach of the Year? Did Ray Rhodes ever win the NFL Coach of the Year with the Eagles?
San Francisco 49ers and was named Coach of the Year by the Associated Press in 1995, his first season as Eagles head coach. He last served as the senior defensive assistant for the
He's got 5 Super Bowl rings, too. Not bad. So he has 5 Super Bowl rings with the Niners, and he was the NFL Coach of the Year. And you think Sirianni's better than that guy? He got to a Super Bowl. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He had nothing to do with that Super Bowl. 0. That's how the organization sees it. Dude, he's been the worst coach you've had since Kotai. There you go, Dan. Oh, Nicky. Nick, how about this? What's his job, Dan? Dan, what's his job? What's his job? What's Nick Sirianni's job? Tell me what Nick Sirianni's job is, and I'll go, I never thought of that. What's Nick Sirianni's job? Okay? Sills really hates Sirianni. I don't hate anybody. I hate Nazis. Told you that. Okay? Hate? I'm talking sports here. I really don't hate anybody in sports when I'm talking about them. It's got nothing to do with hate. I don't know him from a can of paint. See, unlike you, I don't pretend to know people. Okay? So when it comes to knowing him personally, that has nothing to do with this. Same with Jalen Hurts. My criticism of Hurts has nothing to do about his character or who he is. I don't give a shit about that, actually. Personally, I don't care if he's a good guy or a bad guy. I care he plays. I care he wins games, helps your team get to a Super Bowl. I could give a shit about what the guy does at home, who he has sex with, what his religion is, who he votes for. Only you guys care about that dumb shit. I so don't care about that. I have no interest in that. What your personal life is, on what you vote and what God you pray to. Because that doesn't form my opinion of you. That's you people doing that. You take all those things that don't matter and form an opinion on people. I don't do that. That's why I have more, I could be friends with a guy who's a Democrat or Republican. You can't. You can't. It's impossible for you. Okay? Yeah, Merrill Reese actually went on Big Bill. Went on the show and said that the reason he felt, it was his opinion, that the Eagles didn't want to bring Justin Fields in is because they didn't want to rattle the cages of all the crazy maniac Eagle fans screaming for Fields to get in once Hurts starts throwing picks. How you doing? That's Merrill Reese. 48 legendary years. He said that. Go back and listen to that interview that Bill did with him. He says it in there. I was listening to it going, shit, I wish he had said that with me. Didn't want to rattle the cage, because I think that, what's his name, Merrill knows I would have posted that. Woo! How you doing? No one can answer what Nick's job is. What's Nick's job? Hey, Niners all day. Damn right they didn't want to bring Justin Fields in. They didn't want to bring Justin Fields in because they didn't want a Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts situation 2.0 again. That shows you how weak the organization is when it comes to shit like that. and how they're still. So they took the lesser guy and Kenny Pickett instead of Fields. That's what they're telling. Well, that's what Merrill's thinking. The voice for 48 years of the Eagles. How you doing? Wow, man, you're afraid of Justin Fields rattling the cages of the crazy maniac Eagle fans? Man, that's got to hurt. Your own guy said it. Your own guy said it. How's that possible? Okay? I'm awake, are you? Big Bill wants round 2. Who's Bill? Oh, the guy I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay. You see, what I tell you when we open the show, Big Sills is on Big Sills' time. I do things at my own pace. Get me? I don't do shit at your pace. See, this is my kingdom here. I got a moat around this bitch. How you doing? I decided to drop the drawbridge, let you couple over like I'm going to later on at the end of this hour. I'll tell you about a promotion we have. I'll drop the moat, the bridge over the moat, give you a shot to come in if you're not going to get a couple opportunities for this. Mel Reese said that they didn't want to. Well, yeah, he hinted that they didn't want to bring in Justin Fields because they want to upset Jalen. Who's he, Carson Wentz? Oh, my God, you took the lesser player in Kenny Pickett. Thanks, Bill, for the content. You scooted over that real fast. Big Sills wasn't going to scoot over that one. I took a note on that one. I wrote that. It was like this, Andrew. I said, well, let me write that mother down here. Oh, Merrill Reese, man, barking about, they didn't want to bring in Justin Fields because they didn't want to rattle the cages. Really? How you doing? Wasn't me. I didn't say that. Oh, I did say it the day before. I actually did ask him how he felt about Pickett being brought in. And I think probably he expanded it on putting Fields into that. How you doing? Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah. Sills, it's to relay Howie's plan to the team. Okay. Nick's job is to relay Howie's message to the team. Yeah, that's quite a job for a head coach. Okay. He loves Pickett. Who's he? Who loves Kenny Pickett? The only reason you like Kenny Pickett, he's got small hands. If you're a chick, you like him. I don't know. I have no idea what that meant. None. Zero. Kenny doesn't want to be a backup. What's the difference? Kenny doesn't want to be a backup. What's the difference? Hurts and Justin Fields actually look alike. Kenny Pickett and Jalen Hurts look nothing alike when it comes in style of play. Okay? Sills likes Pickett. I told you yesterday. Do I think Pickett or Justin Fields is good? No. But once Hurts starts sucking again, he'll play. They're not going to let him go through a string of games like he played last year at the end of the season, especially if they're still fighting for a playoff spot and keep his ass in. If he's throwing and having 18 turnovers, they're not going to keep him in there, dog. Nick Sirianni is the captain of our cheerleading team. Remember what I told you. Guys like LJ and Bill and everyone else and Prince and guys, make sure you get your video uploaded by March 23rd on the Eagle website. They're holding auditions for Eagle cheerleading. Look, you've got, what is it now? The days are rolling down here, and you've got to get that video uplinked, or you're going to be out on an audition. They'll call you back, from what I understand. And from what I get and gather is that Nick is going to be picking the cheerleading squad. So that's probably his new role. Sirianni's new role is to pick the cheerleading squad. And I'm sure LJ and Bill and all them guys have a great chance to make that squad. I mean, they may have a practice squad too for guys like Big Chris. So, hey, you still have your opportunity. March 23rd, man. 4 days away. Imperative you get that in there. Make sure you do, man. Make sure you get that too. And if I were you, LJ, I'd show some leg. All right, let's move on. Oh, by the way, Jason Cole at 3:30 and OJ Anderson, Giant Hall of Famer, Super Bowl MVP, should be an NFL Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Famer, will join us around 5 p.m.-ish. Okay, and we're going to talk about Barkley leaving the Giants and going to Philadelphia. We'll get his take on what Tiki Barber and his little bitchy attitude has towards Barkley, what he brings. We'll talk a little Gigantes. That'll be at around 5-ish. So we appreciate you guys hanging around there. James Carver, Nick's job to rattle off 5 keys and repeat competitive advantage. Also, his Super Bowl was akin to Switzer winning Super Bowl with Jimmy's team. Hoping the draft fills gaps elsewhere, we're not Super Bowl bound. James, thank you so much for that. And he reminds me every super chat will be read. Xander was telling me about that again last week. So you guys are a number one priority. Okay. Thank you, LJ. LJ knows we play with each other here. And I mean that in a manly way, LJ. So don't go crazy on me here with that one. Okay. We kind of go back and forth, play a little ping pong here, so it's all good. Okay, yeah, that maybe I have a violation on my man card on that one, so I apologize, LJ. Okay, all right, let's move on. Let me throw this at you here. So I saw that the Philadelphia Eagles now have moved the bonus date for Haason Reddick from, what was it, March 15th to April 1st. Okay. Yellow card, like my daughter. Thank you. Is it me when it comes to the Eagles' relationship with Haason Reddick? Do you think they value him? So let's take a look at this. Haason Reddick, what they've done with him in the last month and a half, they told him to look for another job. They haven't offered him a contract. They're not willing to pay. And they moved $1 million bonus that he's rightfully earned. I'll tell you one thing about him. What is he at? 27 sacks in the regular season in the last 2 years? I don't know about you, but that's awful productive. That's got to be in the top 5. 27 sacks in the last 2 years since he's been a Philadelphia Eagle. One thing you can say about him, the number one thing that he was asked to do, it's not his fault they don't know how to use him. But when you ask what his top job was to get to the quarterback, I think he's fulfilled that. He's fulfilled that. And I agree, Rico. I think the Philadelphia Eagles don't value him. Am I wrong? Okay, that's Chris. Chris. Right. Excellent, Chris. Excellent. Why fuck with the guy's bonuses that he earned? Chris, do you agree? It's a slap in the face. You're holding back a bonus that he's rightfully earned, even if you're gonna move him. Hold on. I'm not debating his skill set here. I'm talking about doing right by the guy. Let me tell you something. People in my life, like, not to say anybody's name, somebody did right by me today. Not going to say who. He knows who I'm talking about. Dude, it's not about telling you how good you are, patting you on the head. Hey, we really like you. It's about doing right by you. That's the most important thing. Why would you mess with the guy's $1 million bonus? Does that really move the meter in any way whatsoever? I think they don't think anything of this guy. I think they want out from him. Personally, there's not a chance. Here. Let me go here with this. So let's take a look at how about this? Let's look at this. This is what they've done in actions with Reddick. Reddick's people floated out that they'd like to get a raise and redo a deal. Eagles aren't open to do that. And then they turned around and told them, if you could find another team, we'll talk about a trade and we'll trade you. Okay? Jeez. That had to be a bloody nose. That had to be a bloody nose. Then you turn around and you do this. Okay? Market's been kind of light. And guess how about this one too, Chris? They go out and sign a guy who's a duplicate player in Bryce Huff with the intention of moving Reddick. Then they turn around and they mess with a bonus that you're rightfully entitled to. Do they value Haason Reddick? Yes or no? And I'm gonna put the question to you here in a minute. You think they value a guy? Needling? Well, hey, let me tell you something about needling. It's one thing to needle a guy. It's another thing to hold back a bonus. Okay? Seals, we need to get younger. I agree with the bonus. Don't touch it, but he's old. Listen, I'm not debating this. I'm asking you, they don't value him, right? They don't value him. Messing with his money is a bullshit move, but it's a roster bonus. I'd rather trade. I understand that, Bob. Bob, I get that. But you're telling me a guy who's got you 27 sacks in 2 years, who had a bonus in his contract, and he's under market in value, according to his production, that roster bonus was that significant where they're telling him, you're not the future and you're not part of the future of this team. Correct? I think they value him, but not at the number he wants at his age, Big Marshall. Wait a minute. Then why did they sign a player that duplicates his skill set if they want him? Dude, Marshall, go with me here. Say you're a really good salesman and you're one of the top salesmen in your division. Your boss goes out and hires a guy who's also a top salesman in his division and has the same job you have, and he's working next to you. Would you feel that was weird? Why are you hiring someone else for my job? I do the job that what are we doing here? And he makes $2 million more than I make? So Bryce Huff makes $2 million more than Haason Reddick right now. Huff will be a huge bust if they even try to play him. I agreed. By the way, Reddick's a better player than Huff. That is, hey, Haason Reddick is a better ball player than Bryce Huff. He's a better ball player. And I don't think he does a lot of great things, but he's better. He's a better cover guy, and he's a better tackler. He's better. And he's a better pass rusher. Huff is the worst tackling edge rusher in the league. And that's not for debate. And he's the worst cover guy in the league. That's not for debate. You know why it's not? The Jets didn't use him that way. The Eagles are forecasting they can turn him into Reddick when you have Reddick. Sam goes, so Sills, answer this. What kind of organization would do that? No. I'm not saying the Eagles are doing anything wrong here when it comes, but tell the guy he's not part of the team. They want, here, is it a mistake or not to bring Reddick back? Do you think your chances of going to the Super Bowl are better or worse if Reddick is not on the team? Better or worse? Who knows? Well, you better figure it out. Can Huff play 3 downs? No. I don't know. Who's taking his roster spot? Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith. You drafted Nolan Smith as an edge rusher at 31. Come on, Howie. Nolan Smith takes his spot. He's a first-round draft choice. Not a third, not a second. He's a first-rounder. You got a first-round draft choice, and you're asking me the question, who takes the spot for Haason Reddick? My God. Anybody who ever comes into this show ever again and tries to tell me that Howie Roseman knows what he's doing on defense, and some of you just answered who takes the roster spot, knowing full well 18 months ago you drafted Nolan Smith 31. You don't know what you're doing. Silsy's not good enough. Oh, everything I've been telling you about that clown as a drafting college defensive analytics guy is completely true. When you have to ask the question, who takes Haason Reddick's spot when you got a first rounder on your team? What do you mean, who? So what are you going to do? There's nobody out on the free agent market right now that could take that spot. By the way, who's taking Brandon Graham's spot? Have you decided what you're doing there? So you're going to replace Haason Reddick and Brandon Graham, correct? With who? Nolan Smith and a rookie. And 2 guys who can't tackle. Never, I did not. That was Barrett Brooks that said that he should be. I said, in my opinion, he's not. I never liked the player. That was Barrett. Barrett thought he was 9. No way. I never thought he was a good ball player. Never. Wrong guy. That was Barrett. James, thank you, dude. That's really nice of you. What is this lazy 30-year-old going on? Why weren't Kelsey and Cox pushed out long ago? Oh, because they're better than younger players and they're positioned for long after 30. Trends and absolutely is still trending up. Absolutely. Haason's still trending up. Albeit trends and Haas is still trending up. Absolutely, James. Absolutely. I thank you very much for that too, by the way. Okay? Really nice, James. Put a star on that guy. Like it. I'm replacing BG myself. Go. I don't know about trending up. Haason fell off last year. Haason did not fall off last year. At the beginning of the year, he had a cast on. And at the end of the year, you had a coordinator who liked the two gap and didn't know how to play him too. And Matt Patricia. What a colossal train wreck that thing was. Dude, you're asking who replaces Haason. They don't value Haason Reddick at all. Look at the moves they've made. They're disrespecting Haason Reddick so much right now that they're begging him to leave and take a lesser deal so that they can get the draft picks. That's my contention. That Howie would rather have draft picks than Reddick on the team with the $22 million cap hit next year. Completely what I think he wants. He wants the draft picks for Reddick, not the player. You signed a player that resembles him. You drafted a player a year ago that resembles him. You told him to go on the open market to find another dance partner, and you hold back a roster bonus. You tell me if you're wanted. Actions speak louder than words do. Are we not hearing it, or do you not want to hear it? This is even bigger than what I had thought, how the Eagles are pushing Haason Reddick out. The Philadelphia Eagles, Xander, the Philadelphia Eagles are in the process of pushing Haason Reddick out of the organization by their own actions. They signed Bryce Huff, who absolutely resembles the skill set of Haason Reddick. They told him to go see what the market says about him and how many draft picks the Eagles could get, because they have no intention of paying him. Zero. The year previous, they drafted a guy to replace him in Nolan Smith. Now they hold back the bonus until April 1. I don't know about you. You could sit here and tell me that the Eagles love the player, but their actions don't show that. My opinion, Howie Roseman wants the draft picks for the player. And they are in the process of pushing Haason Reddick out of the organization. And I don't believe I'm reading this wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not making that stuff up. I'm not making that up. And get this. This is what you have with the Philly media. They're sitting there saying that they're playing a really smart game. This is not a game. They're pushing him out. They don't want him back. They don't value him like that. And I think this has got something to do with Vic Fangio. I don't think Vic Fangio values Haason Reddick as a player that's going to contribute to the football team the way he wants to use. And I think he's more open to having a younger player like Bryce Huff to be able to mold into what he wants him to look like than a veteran player in Haason Reddick. And it's easier to coach younger players, especially when you just got a lot of money. I think he wants him out. I mean, Sills, the Eagles are letting Reddick twist and holding the money back so he'll bend the knee like Sweat, how he wants the comp picks next year. Dude, the comp picks, here's the deal. Nobody's giving up a 3 and a 5 for Haason Reddick when there's no market for him for $20 million right now. He's his agent and him think too much of themselves. Albeit, man, 27 sacks in 2 years is spectacular. It's a spectacular number. I'm not going to dismiss that. But how Vic Fangio is looking at that, and again, at the end of the day, that's right, John. Huff is almost 260. He's a bigger player. You could actually potentially play him at BG spot. BG's 255, right? What's Brandon Graham? Hey, John, am I right when I say this, that Huff? Now, look, you're taking a gamble by putting Huff out there because why? He grades some of the lowest numbers when it comes to run defense. That's a gamble. That's a gamble. Stevens goes, Huff is going to make Sills eat it. Eat what? The fact that every year he's been in the league, he's been graded the worst run defender in the league as an edge rusher? How am I eating what? Dude, you're talking about what you're hoping he is. I'm telling you who he is. You see something here? Again, Stevens, that's the difference between you and me. You're telling me who you want him to be. I'm telling you who he is. Today, on March 19th, he's one of the worst run defenders in the league. Okay? You're telling me and hoping, well, he's going to make you eat your, well, okay, great. That would be great. Reddick hasn't agreed to shit. The deadline to pay the bonus has been pushed back to April 1. Such a move could only be made with Reddick agreeing. He has to agree. He has to agree or the Eagles would have cut him. Dude, that guy's either getting cut or he's getting traded. There's only two ways. Dude, how are people making excuses up for how the Eagles have treated and acted and made moves around him and explicitly around him, coming up with the team wants him back? How in the world are you coming up with that? What is the one thing that makes you say, hey, if he's so valuable, why in the world? So you're telling me that the Eagles would go like this, say AJ had a problem with his contract. You think they'd go to AJ Brown and go, hey, why don't you go see if there's a dance partner out there tomorrow? You think they would do that? You think they would do that with Mulata? Shit, they wouldn't do that with Lane. But they do it with Reddick. Hey, go see. Go ahead. It's all right. I don't care. And you still haven't answered the most important question here. Okay? Does it make you closer to the Super Bowl if he's not on the team? Slagger goes, is this that? Get this. Slagger doesn't want to hear the facts. See, no, it would never be MSNBC because they don't tell the facts. So we're going to write the facts down because he can't hear it because he's one of those guys. So we'll write the facts down on how they've operated with Haason Reddick. Okay? Reddick's people, and correct me if I'm wrong, Reddick's people. Slagger, you tell me if I'm lying at any moment here. Reddick's people go to the Eagles, want to restructure. The Eagles, in turn, say, no, why don't you go out and see if you can find another team to negotiate with, and then get back to us. They gave them the right for a trade to talk to other teams. Is that correct? It is. Howie was asked the question at the combines, who contacted who first? Howie subtly looked over at the questionnaire and went, Reddick's people. So that's one. They turn around in free agency on the first day and sign a guy who has the same job and skill set as Reddick. Not a great cover guy, not a great tackler, but he's got a great get-home ratio. Is that right? And they gave him 17.5. Bryce Huff. See, Slager says I'm lying here. Let's go to situation number 3. They turn around, and a year ago, with Nolan Smith, they drafted Nolan Smith to take whose job? Haason Reddick's with the 31st pick. Then today, they tell him, or the 15th, they probably told him on March 15th, we're going to move the roster bonus to April 1. Why is that important and significant? Because you're getting closer to the draft. Bonus moved. So this all starts, okay? No. What he's trying to do is that he's saying that Slager is that Reddick approved this. Well, let's look at the Eagles' actions. They draft a guy at 31 who's an edge rusher to take his job. They turn around and tell him when he wants a contract negotiation to go ahead and go out in the market and we give you permission to seek a trade. Okay. First day of free agency, they give a guy 17.5 per year and Bryce Huff from the Jets. Then they turn around and they move the roster bonus. You tell me, okay? Slager doesn't see it. You tell me. Get this too. Prince goes, all facts, Reddick's asking too high a price. Wait a minute. Prince, he may be asking too high a price, but the Eagle actions are showing you they don't want him back. Am I wrong? Look at this. Name says, I'm turning nothing into a soap opera by the actions of the Philadelphia Eagles and how they're dealing with Reddick, and he thinks this is nothing. You draft a guy number 1. You tell him to go seek a trade, and you give him permission to seek a trade. You sign a free agent that's his job and give him more money than him, and then you move his roster bonus. And you're telling me that's nothing? That's why most of you Eagle fans are blind and deaf, because you don't see how the organization acts. You listen to them, and they lie to you. Teams don't tell the truth. Coaches don't tell the truth. Do you not see that? And on top of that, I think this was Xander's take. Xander goes, Sills, you know what kills me about the Bryce Huff move? They want him to be Reddick, and we have Reddick. You're like, you're right. And then, you know what you're going to get with Eagle fans? Well, he had a down year. He had a down year? Then why did you pay a guy $17.5 million to come onto a shitty defense that does the same thing and it's going to give you the same result with that shitty defense? Dude, your linebacking core, you haven't upgraded your defense. Except for Gardner Johnson. You haven't upgraded it. There's nothing redeeming on that team that goes, that's a good-looking defense. You haven't upgraded it. You just changed the names around. You know what you did? You should have tearaway jerseys Honestly, you should have tearaway jerseys with the names on the back. It's the same group. It's the same thing. You haven't upgraded your line. Actually, I think you've downgraded your linebackers, especially if Nakobe Dean's starting. Dude, they're going to start Nakobe Dean in Brazil. Do you understand that? They're going to start him and Devin White. Two guys who are terrible. James, man, banging away today. Woo! Reddick still excelled with only Cox playing DT all season. Jets had a solid interior play, which helped Huff get his numbers. Reddick still did it with Carter and Davis not filling gaps and collapsing pockets. Pushed the launch point back. It's a great take, James. That's a great take. Okay, look at this guy here. Birds, stop it with Dean. He stinks. Stop it with Dean? Dude, he's been here 3 years. He's going on his 3rd year, and you don't know what you have? What are you talking about? He'll never, ever play for the Eagles with any impact. Ever. Okay? Fangio looks at Huff and sees Von Miller, 6'3", 250, same size, uniform, but Huff is not Von Miller. Hey, Miller is really good. Was the guy you see in Buffalo now is not quite the player he was in Denver, obviously, because he could play the run. He was way better in Denver. You can't say that about Dean. What have you ever seen in Nakobe Dean that makes you comfortable in giving, not earning, that guy a starting job? What, because Howie drafted him? Because he's notoriously excellent at drafting linebackers. He stinks. Okay? He stinks. Nakobe Dean. If you guys are going to put your hopes on that guy, I'm with Angelo. 5-6 win team. Because your defense stinks. And you got to take on the Cleveland Browns in week 1 with people who can't cover and people who can't pass rush and corners who are outdated. You got outdated corners. You should be worrying about your cornerback play and the age of your corners. You got a 32-year-old corner on one end and a guy who was basically French toast on the other side. And you bring in Gardner Johnson, and I agree. I like him coming back. I do. Reed Blankenship is hit or miss. He's okay. You have not upgraded your defense. You haven't. Slade destroyed Diggs and Jefferson, rolled the tape. What was that, 2 years ago? Dude, somebody said something earlier about me bringing up Miami. Stop talking about 22. That's old news. That's old news. Well, Jalen was an MVP candidate. So what? Cam Newton was an MVP winner. Would you think Cam Newton? Hey, how about this? You don't really think Jalen Hurts has had or will have a better career than Cam Newton? You don't think that? I mean, I'd like to see Cam Newton in that Philadelphia Eagle offense in his prime. It'd be illegal. 6'6" guy like that running in that offense, that'd be illegal. Okay? That'd be illegal. Huff said it himself. His success was predicated on D-line teamwork. That's so. Dave, that's why Reddick had a better 22 season. I don't think there was no coincidence. That's a great one, Barb. Rex Grossman and Jalen Hurts have gotten teams to Super Bowls. Hey, Barb, am I right? That Bears team that year, didn't they lose 2 games? That Lovie Smith Bears team? Rex Grossman and Jalen Hurts. It has a ring to it. Rex Hurts. Okay. Yeah, Rex Grossman got a team to a Super Bowl. Come on, Barb. You can't give me that kind. Joe Flacco was an MVP too, I think. Okay. Look at Barb needs a brain because she said Rex Grossman got a team to the Super Bowl. See what I'm saying, Barb? Don't throw any shade on their boy Wonder. It's like talking about baby Jesus, Tim Tebow. Hey, even Xander. Hey, he's really a great guy. This guy cut penises over in like the Philippines and such. He went on all these missions. I don't care. He's really a guy. Yeah, great. Okay. He stunk as a quarterback. Yeah, okay. Holy cow, you should have heard Gator fans. People like Howie, getting all on me when I was calling him baby Jesus. The deliverer. The Eagle or the Gator deliverer delivered a couple national championships. Yeah, he took credit for Chris Leak's title. And Urban Liar used to take Chris Leak out his senior year and put the freshman in so that Tebow could have all them touchdowns down in the red zone because he didn't want he didn't want Chris Leak to get all the credit for the title. He wanted Tebow to have some of it too for the fan base. Oh, man. The only way I trade Reddick is for a third, entertain. That ain't happening. Okay? Coming from a guy who thinks Allen is top 3, yeah, absolutely. Josh Allen's top 3. Absolutely. I'm not the only guy. You're the – no. Jay, you have to turn that around. You would be the asshole because nobody on the planet thinks that Josh Allen is not a top 3 quarterback in this league. Nobody. Except the people in Philly who think the guy, Rex Grossman or Jalen Hurts, is better than Josh Allen. Nobody thinks that. Nobody with any brains would think that. Yeah, Urban Liar. I hate that guy. Okay, there's somebody I do. Sorry, Betty. Okay, that's a guy who used to call herd gangsters. He used to call me a herd gangster because I was critical of his program. And he got mad at me one time, Urban Liar. And you'll like this, Chris, because I called him out that in 5 years, he had 36 arrests on his football players, but he covered it up with baby Jesus Tim Tebow. And he got very upset with me with that when I did that. And he said, look at all the shit that went on down there with you. I go, yeah. Well, you cover it up with the baby Jesus shield. Okay? You cover, and he got mad as hell at me. Almost tried to get me pulled off the air. Hey, really? It didn't help that we had the Gator Network on WDAE. Yeah. Oh, man. That was a mess. By the way, so you guys know, I got traded inside my company, Clear Channel, iHeart, one time. I was traded from Orlando to Tampa for the Gator Network by Linda Bird. I was traded to Tampa. Tampa had to put the Gator Network back over in Orlando, and I went back to Tampa. So I was traded inside a Clear Channel for the Gator Network. Just saying. Miami had Ray Lewis. Didn't he kill someone? No. Unlike you, he was exonerated in court. Thank you. You still watch this clown? Yes, religiously. Jason Cole will join us at 3:30. At 5 o'clock, 5-ish, we're going to have O.J. Anderson, former Super Bowl MVP. We're going to talk a little Saquon Barkley. But I couldn't wait for this. We are going to put on a promotion here at JAKIB Sports, and I am looking forward to this. March Madness is here. And JAKIB Sports is looking for a select 500 folks of our loyal viewers and subscribers to sign up. Okay, now this is going to be an exclusive deal for people. And this comes around with our great partner at Underdog Fantasy. And all you guys have to do is sign up here, and it's going to be an exclusive group. I'm going to be involved in this. Now, get this. The minimum is $10, and Underdog will match that $10, and you'll have 20. So basically, you double your money right into the gate. You can go as high as $100, by the way. So if you go in with $100, you have $200 that you can bet on the tournament. This is for the March Madness tournament. I'm going to be involved with it again. Now, remember, Underdog Fantasy will match all the way up to $100 if you sign up. And you have to use the promo code WIN, W-I-N. That's W-I-N. And we are looking, once again, for 500 people to come aboard with us during the tournament. We're going to be involved, and minimum is $10. This is very simple. Okay. You know what? I'm awake. Are you? I thought about 1,000 too. But, because the tournament is the second most bet on event in American sports next to the Super Bowl, I thought we'd leave it at 500 and make it easy. So we're looking for 500 people, our viewers and subscribers. Underdog Fantasy, they're going to double your first deposit of up to 100. And there it is right there. Promo code WIN. And Underdog will match all the way up to $100, which means you'll have $200 to bet. Minimum is $10. It's very simple. It's not brain surgery here, so we're going to keep reminding you guys to do this. And it's for the NCAA tournament, 500 exclusive viewers and subscribers. All right, hit the like button. Big Sills, hour number 2. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. And Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything. Everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz & Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills. So the Eagles were afraid to bring in competition for Jalen Hurts. Are you okay, Whoopi? Come on, Wonder Boy. You all right? Let's bring in Kenny Pickett. I don't bring in Justin Fields, man. I don't want anybody. What if that guy looks good in that offense? Holy shit, we'll have a quarterback controversy, and that's not the drama we need. Holy cow, man. Okay? Hey. Okay? That's not something we want at all here. Absolutely nothing. We don't want any of that. We don't need any of that. Jalen Hurts is afraid of competition? Come on. Big Bill. I mean, what happened? Jalen Hurts is afraid of, or the Eagles? No, I don't think Jalen. The Eagles are afraid of competition for Hurts. KTP says, I doubt it. That was Merrill's take. Why are you saying we? Name. Because Merrill said it. I heard it on Big Bill's show. You see, I scan around IP. I don't really go to that other thing. Our network, Bill, national guys. I listen for content and how I could take national content and make it localized. And when I hear a guy who's been the voice of the Eagles for 48 years saying they probably didn't want to bring Hurts or Fields in because they didn't want the craziness of the Eagle fans screaming in the stands once Hurts starts throwing picks. Put in Fields. Oh, man. Hurts could squat you, then read a defense after. I doubt it, dude. Let me tell you this, man. Jalen Hurts is as blind at reading a defense as Stevie Wonder is at reading music notes. Okay? I mean, Stevie at least knows him in his mind. Jalen Hurts is as blind as Stevie Wonder is reading music notes when it comes to reading defenses. So don't go there. Oh, man. How you doing? Hey, Jalen Hurts is the Stevie Wonder of reading defenses in the NFL. Holy cow. Hey, holy cow, man. You got to be kidding me, homie. Hey, who reads better, Stevie Wonder or Jalen Hurts on defenses? I'm going to go Stevie Wonder. Holy cow, man. Bottom of the hour. Jason Cole will join us, and we'll talk to O.J. Anderson, New York Giant Hall of Famer. That'll be at around 5-ish. Ask Eddie Murphy. Stevie Wonder is a musical genius. Really? Shaq doesn't believe he's blind. That I'm not going to touch. Okay? That I'm not going to touch. Shaq says he lived in the same building with Stevie Wonder. And he didn't say anything. He walks on, and Stevie Wonder's standing there by himself. And he walks on to the elevator, and he pushes his floor. And Stevie Wonder goes, "Hey, Big Diesel." And Shaq went like this, man. I think he did it on the Kimmel Show. He goes, "I don't think that guy's blind." Yeah. Sills is a natural born killer. Oh, hater. You bet, bro. Hey, name brand. Let me tell you something. When you come onto this program, there'll be a bloodbath of takes that are good and bad by you guys, but by me, phenomenal. Just remember, that's my new catchphrase word, bloodbath. I like that word. And still makes beautiful music. I'll take Stevie Wonder comparison. Yeah, it's a good point, man. I love his music too. I do. Okay, I do. William Drew Lock beat the Eagles. William Drew Lock. Oh man. All right. Let me go here now. Devontae Smith, I got a message for you. Okay? This show is a real knife fight. I think that's racist. I think that's stereotyping. Why? Because the last name has a vowel in it? Is that right? Hey, Joe Scarborough, is that what you're saying? Because I have a vowel in my name? That this show is a real knife fight? How dare you have sarcasm? Don't you know the era we live in today? What is wrong with you? Sarcasm, RTF, is out. This show is a verbal bloodbath. You see, you've got to remember, Chuck, you have to have an adjective in there. Hey, if the Eagles don't win this year, there'll be a bloodbath of coaches fired. You know what I mean? You got to add that in there. Okay? Because you paisans always have knives. No. Can't bring a gun to a knife. You know, you bring a knife to a gunfight, right? Right? Bro, where do these people you see, you got to understand something play by play with JJ. These are people that don't have to have guardrails up in their life. It could say anything they want here on the program. Ripping me, not ripping me. This is an equal offending show by the host and by the people in here. You're either going to be sensitive and leave, or you're going to be able to tough it out and stay. This is not for the faint of heart. It never has been. 35 years of doing this. It's never been. Okay? Never. Barb goes, the owner of the Eagles is woke. You have no idea. There's certain words and things I can't say about the GM, or I can't compare him to. I've been told. So they get a little sensitive when Big Sil starts throwing his comparisons around. I see why people say that there's a little Trump in Sills, because I like those little words and calling people by different names. Rex Hurts. I like that. Barb, that's one of your better ones. I like Rex Hurts. And tell Bill that one. Rex Hurts. Or Jalen Grossman. I don't know. Jalen Grossman might offend the Eagles. Oh, yeah. Sills, you don't give Hurts no credit. What can he do right? Work hard. He works hard. Dude, he's not a bad player, Eric. That's not a player I'm building my team around. But wait, let me take that back. That's not a style of play that I'm building my team around. You know, Eric, it's really nothing to do with Jalen. It's the style of play. And I think because when we first started the program here, I think Xander can contest to this. We have been consistent. I don't think there's high ceilings for these guys. I think when you have a dual threat guy, I don't think they have long careers because they're injured quick. And I just don't think. And then when you're trying to change Hurts out of being a dual threat into a pocket guy, and I think he's another guy. And when you try to change him into a pocket guy, turnovers went up massively. It doubled. But he's going to get better this year under the greatness of Kellen Moore. Okay. Hurts wins games? Yeah, really? Well, that ran out last year. Hey, man, get this. So let me ask you something. Let me do this. How many people believe that Carson Wentz got out to a strong start in his early part of his career in Philly? Thank you, Spin. Spin, let me ask you this. Spin, did Carson Wentz get out to a super strong start to his career? Would you say he was really shot out of a cannon? Play-by-play says no, that he didn't. He threw for 4,000 yards. First part of his career, right? Let's take a look at his first part. How about this? Let's take a look at his first 3 years starting compared to Jalen. Carson Wentz stats. See here. All right. Let's take a look at Carson Wentz in his first 3 years. All right. His first 3 years, Carson Wentz. He threw for 3,782 yards and 16 touchdowns. Okay. I think Jalen threw for 31. His second year, he throws for 3,296 and 33 touchdowns and 7 picks. His third year, he throws for 3,174 and 21 touchdowns. And let's see, his record is, there's 18 and 11. And then he's 24 and 17. Gonna revisit this. I'll tell you what, I have not seen as much movement when it comes to the NFL that I've seen over the last couple of weeks, and a lot of movement has been going on. And by the way, the Cowboys, like we said with Jason Cole last week, Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, our NFL insider, we were talking about what's Dallas doing. And I'm going to bring Jason up here now with us. And Jason, thanks so much for doing it. Today, going into 2024 season, would you take Dak or would you take Jalen Hurts as your quarterback?
Wow. Jalen Hurts.
Why?
I think there's a little bit more upside at this point. I think we haven't reached the ceiling for Jalen Hurts. And so while last year was kind of a sideways kind of year for him, he wasn't great like he was the year before. He wasn't terrible either. I mean, there are flaws in his game. I think we know what Dak is at this point, right? Like, we've seen the best and worst of Dak Prescott. And he was good last year. And I think that you can win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. I know you can get to a Super Bowl. And really, Jalen Hurts was, this close to winning that Super Bowl? He's a tug of the shirt away from winning a Super Bowl. I just think that with Dak, I just continue to see the flaws, like in critical situations, third down and long situations, not coming up big enough in really big games. I just have those concerns still, and I'm not sure that he's ever going to solve that. He's always going to be a very good quarterback. He's He's Kirk Cousins in a lot of ways, which is good, not great.
How about this, though, Jace? Do you think that getting to a Super Bowl is overrated? Because someone here brought Rex Grossman's name up, and they went 14-2. And I'm not trying to compare Rex Grossman and Jalen, but, it's a team and accomplishment. And so when people go, well, this guy got this, Colin Kaepernick got a football team. I'm not saying Colin was – I disagree with many people. I think the organization was falling apart under Trent Baalke, and especially after Harbaugh left, that whole thing went south. So,
well, if I just get to your question, which is, look, there are times when the quarterback is responsible for how he runs the offense, and there are times that the quarterback is sort of along for the ride. Okay, Rex Grossman was along for the ride. He made enough plays that. Right. He wasn't the guy driving the train, right? And we know that. But Jalen Hurts was a lot closer to driving the train that year. He was a critical part of that team. And that's what I give him credit for. But yes, there are qualitative things that you look at and you just say, yeah, like Brad Johnson with Tampa was never driving the train. Okay.
Never.
He won a Super Bowl and he played very well that season. He did what they needed him to do. But I can find with that in a lot of guys. I don't know that you can find a lot of what Jalen Hurts does in a lot of guys. There are a few, but not a lot.
How about this one, Jace? And I brought this up yesterday. They're just different in their styles of play, and you just brought it up. Well, Brock Purdy has Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey. Jalen has AJ, Devontae, Goddard. Now he has Barkley and a better O-line. What's the difference in the two players? Both guys are reliant on a lot of stacked talent on their offense.
Yeah.
And when you take one of those guys off those teams, those guys don't look like the same player. I mean, Jalen Hurts in that playoff game against the Bucs, he was lost. And when I saw Purdy without Trent Williams against Cleveland even, and Josh Dobbs or whoever it was, they ended up beating that great Niner team. I mean, aren't they basically the same guy when it comes to what they deliver to their teams? Maybe in different ways, but aren't they the same guy that rely on the talent around them?
Well, every quarterback is.
Well, that's not true because I could go to Kansas City and Buffalo and go, those guys don't have anybody in their huddles.
Wait a sec. I mean, Kansas City still has Travis Kelce, and they still have a good
there's one
back.
guy. They got six Pro Bowlers, Jason.
Just let me make this point. There are some quarterbacks who have an ability to raise the level of the talent around them, but it still has to be requisite talent. Okay? It still has to be good enough, right? You can't overcome having you can't do dinner at Schmucks and expect to win, right? Okay? You just can't. You have to have quality guys, whether they're offensive linemen, tight end, a receiver or two. Some critical guys around you have to be there, right? So when you take talent away from Tom Brady at the end when he was in New England, guess what? They weren't a very good football team. All right. And, they're completely bereft. If you take talent away from, Peyton Manning, he's not going to be the same quarterback. That's why you always want to feed those guys with talented guys. When you look at Brock Purdy, there's a way that you have to protect him. We talked about this before. Like when Drew Brees was in New Orleans, what did they always make sure that they had? A really good center and two really good guards. And they got away with lesser talent at the tackles because they realized that area between the center and the quarterback, they needed to have Drew Brees be able to step up into that area and throw, and they had to keep it clean, right? Same thing is kind of true with Brock Purdy. You got to keep the pocket clean with him. So the way that San Francisco does it, by running the ball a lot, making sure that they have Trent Williams over there, right? And they're going to upgrade their offensive line, here over the next few years and try and keep their talent together. So, yeah, you got to have talent. Brock Purdy, however, you can say this definitively versus Jalen Hurts. His anticipation and ability to throw accurately is much better than Jalen Hurts. That's just his strength. But if Brock Purdy were to try and run some of the plays that Jalen Hurts tries to run, he can move okay, but he ain't going to be breaking tackles, right? Like, it's just not – they're not the same
right, it's just a different skill set.
Right, that's all. All guys are not the same.
But isn't that the same in delivering the same results? So they're the same kind of. They bring the same
Right.
thing to their teams.
The sum total of the parts is the same. Okay, and it's how you trick it up around them is look, that's the magic potion.
See, I brought this up, and people got that. They're like, well, Brock Purdy and Hurts are not. Of course, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about what they bring by bringing out the players that they have in their huddle to be effective and help win games. They're the same guy. Because if you look at the skill set, it's almost even between the offense on the Philly team. And I would say this, maybe the Eagles have the advantage in the O-line. Shanahan is the trump on that when it comes to play calling because he's a head coaching play caller. And
Right.
that's the difference where Sirianni's not.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
Right. And you can objectively say that Kyle Shanahan is one of the 3 or 4 best play callers in the entire NFL. Him and Andy
You're going to
Reid.
get pushback on that because I agree with you, but you're going to get pushback because you know why? He'll only be gauged by him winning a Super Bowl. But Jace, I'm going to say this to you. I don't think he wins a Super Bowl in San Francisco. I think he wins one, but I don't think he's going to win it in San Fran.
Well, we'll see about that. I have no idea how to respond.
Well, how long
to
can you keep going with getting to the bar exam and not passing it?
I'm good with. I remember Jim Tomsula. I remember Chip Kelly. Okay.
Okay. So you're
like.
bringing up the people like that kind of. All right.
I know,
You're bringing up the Mike
true.
Singletary kind of stuff. Okay.
Right.
By the way,
well, wait a sec. This is important. If you have a competent head coach who knows what he's doing, how to run a team, that has important value. Okay, like you got to keep fighting every year, and maybe sometime along the way, Kyle Shanahan will burn himself out and he won't be good enough. Sort of the way that Andy Reid and Jeff Lurie eventually ran out of patience with Andy Reid and moved on. But if you were to ask Jeff Lurie today, does he regret getting rid of Andy Reid to bring in Chip Kelly? What would you think his answer would be?
Of course it would be yes. I think they regret getting rid of Doug Peterson.
Yeah. I mean, like sometimes you do things because you think this is not quite right. And it's like, the Steelers have the right idea here. Stay the course. Baltimore is stay the course with your guys. Have consistency with what you're doing. Because as soon as you start to fire people, right? It's like now you have all these battles and fiefdom. Who controls what? Who's running what show? And this and that. You have to have a consistent approach to win year in and year out. These are the kind of players we draft. This is the kind of coaching we have. This is the style of play we have. And yes, we may change the coaches, but we're staying with the philosophy.
Just a question here, kind of go off pace here a little bit. Would you take Shanahan or McVay? Who would you take?
Shanahan.
Come on, Jason.
I don't think McVay. Look, I'm just telling you.
Oh my
this right
God,
now.
he's way more accomplished.
He's got 1 Super Bowl versus
2 NFC championship wins and a Super Bowl. And he's not,
great.
and he's still the youngest coach second youngest coach in the league.
And let me just tell you this: he was looking for a way out 2 years ago, and he's still looking for a way out.
I think he's been rejuvenated because they got a. Wait a minute, look at this. They got
whatever.
Holy cow! You're not. Wait, you're a Niner fan. You're not a Rams fan.
No, I am. I grew up a Rams fan. I'm not a Niners fan. I grew up a Rams fan.
They got 11
I'm not a fan of anybody.
Money.
I'm not a fan of anybody anymore because that's just the nature of the beast. And when the Rams left town, I said, enough. When they went to St. Louis, and just coming back to LA was not enough. But
was it a tiki barber? You're dead to me.
Kinda. It was more of a Chaz Palminteri Bronx tale. You're dead to me. Okay, it's a little more of that, which you understand. Okay, you know what that is.
Well, yes, of course I would understand.
You live that life. You know.
Forget about it, guy. I get it.
He's gone. He's gone with nothing we could do. He was gone.
Absolutely.
But I mean, look, I have great appreciation for Sean McVay. I love the guy. But I don't think he's in it for the long haul. I think he's a burnout waiting to happen.
You think he's a younger version of Madden?
I think he's a younger version of Dick Vermeil. I mean,
Like,
look at this
okay.
life. When a guy says, I look forward to having, what's a life like? What does a life look like if I have kids and I want to go do things with them and I want to spend time with them? When he's talking philosophically about those kinds of things, I don't blame him at all. We should all, go do that. If that's what you really, really want to have in your life is, Saturdays going to your kid's soccer game, or during the week driving your kids to practice, and you've accomplished what you've accomplished, go do it. That's a great thing. Go be a great dad. And understand coaching is not for everybody. It's not a sane lifestyle for a lot of people. And I think that he's thought about that a lot. It goes through his head. And I'm not sure he, again, if the price had been right from some of these networks, he'd be gone already.
Yeah. I agree. Hey, I want to expand on one thing we brought up last week, and I'm going to ask you this because we just brought the Rams up. I'll get back to the NFC here in a second, but on Aaron Donald and his retirement, 10 years, would you agree that his 10 years, maybe not so much in the championship winning of Joe Green, but those two guys dominated the defensive tackle position like no other in their decade had ever dominated because I can't think of another guy other than Green.
Well, Sapp.
That would
Sapp
be
for a shorter period.
Sapp does not mean Joe Green.
No, he's not. He's closer to Aaron Donald in terms of skill set. Right.
Because I happen to think Mean Joe's the greatest defensive tackle of all time.
Again, a lot of it is rules of engagement too. I mean, people don't really understand that. They just think,
it's so important.
Right. It's look.
Think about it, Jason. Look, in the first part of Joe Green's career, offensive linemen weren't allowed to extend their hands.
Correct.
And grab guys. They were more here and had to keep them close to the chest. That was early part of his career when he got to Pittsburgh. Right. And like you said, that may look like nothing to the average fan, but when you get to extend your hands and you get to manipulate the grabbing more, that's where you're going to have more issues because back then, I mean, it was the old style, like you and I, when we were kids, you're going like this kind of stuff. And you don't
even really open. You don't even open your hands, right?
Right. Look, exactly. You are forced to keep so the subtle things you're talking about are totally important when you're evaluating a guy's career. And it's so hard to do that generationally.
Right. I would just say Joe Green was a dominant player in an era of when the game was really a truly line of scrimmage game.
And physical.
And incredibly physical. And was a guy who was to never be messed with, like was a complete force of nature. Aaron Donald, like Warren Sapp, you didn't fear them from they're going to beat my ass, right? Like that's not what you thought was going to happen with them. But they were going to do things that you couldn't account for in an era where the game is more spread out. It allows you to focus on quickness, and being able to move through the line. And then can you hold up enough when people want to run straight at you? Like you can't be completely lightweight at defensive tackle.
You do get more pass rush opportunities in today's game than he did.
Right. You're playing more forward, but there are going to be times when people are going to take you on, right, in today's game. And those guys were good enough to hold up against that. Not the way that Joe Green did, because he was just such a force of nature and the nature of the game. So, yes, I would say Aaron Donald. Is he better than Warren Sapp? Yes. He was more consistent over the entire length of his career as opposed to Warren, which we talked about before. Great at Tampa, cashed out in Oakland.
Yeah, the back end of that, like you said, he played when he wanted to, when he was with the Raiders. Let me slide back over to the NFC here. As we're looking prior to the draft here, again, free agency 2 weeks out here. We're 2 weeks out of it now. 49ers, Lions, Packers, Cowboys, Eagles, top 5. That sound right?
Yeah, I would say that. That's about right.
The
Well,
Cowboys
I mean, you
now.
said what?
The Cowboys, are you concerned with them this offseason so far?
The only thing that concerns me is the stuff that Pollard and Dalton Schultz have talked about, which have just further exposed the. It's the truth. I mean, it's like it's a soap opera. It's not about winning. It's a soap opera. Everything is said. Like, are people eventually going to get how disingenuous the Cowboys really are about this whole thing? It's not about winning. It's
What does
about
all in mean?
it's a soundbite.
I mean,
Doesn't mean
do
anything.
you think that Jerry looks at it like this in his career? That he raised the value of the team since he bought it from Bum Bright. He won 3 Super Bowls. And when you write the story, you can't write the story without him having 3 Super Bowls and the importance of him raising the value, help raise the value of the league, the TV contracts. So I wonder what the priority really is when it comes to winning that last game of the year. Or is it more about what people say, that he loves the fact that it's the highest rated television show every year on TV, and that his whole story, when you write it, you have to put all of it in, the winning early and all what he did for the league.
I don't know if you even
Because I think he's
prioritize.
resigned to winning a championship.
Yeah,
Like
but
you
he's
said,
not.
Jason, all in is talk.
Yeah, it's just blah blah blah. It's just words. It's not. It's not. It's like a politician. He's just saying words that are empty. And so, like, what does it really mean? I have no idea. What's their biggest move this offseason? They re-signed their long snapper. Like, that's all they've done.
And wait, whoa, no. They restructured Dax Steele to give him $4 million off. Now it's only a $55.5 million hit on the cap.
But you know what I'm saying.
59.
Right. You understand what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing that's really happened with this team.
That
they
was a
have
nothing burger restructure.
Right. So I guess I'm just sitting here going, it's the same old Cowboys. Now, Jerry, I know somewhere in there, Jerry wants to believe that he's this great football man. He's going to win a championship. But the default is always, but I'm rich. And I did this and I made this kind of money. And that's his thing. That's his highest priority. Again, I come back to that story, about him talking about what coaches made and him going, that wasn't enough. It's always been about the money for Jerry. It's not about the glory of winning. Okay? He talks about the glory of winning because that helps him make the money and sell the product. But at the end of the day, the priority is always about the money. It's not necessarily about the winning. And if it was about the winning, he would have figured it out by now.
Jason, I want to throw this at you here. It looks like the Eagles are going to play the Browns in the opener down in Sao Paulo in Brazil. DeShaun Watson, quarterback, Nick Chubb, running back, Amari Cooper, wide out, Jerry Jeudy, wide out, Elijah Moore, wide out, and David Njoku, tight end. You got one of the better old lines in the NFL. You got the number 1 defense in the league. I mean, it's time to do some things in Cleveland now, ain't it? I mean, you paid a guy $230 million guaranteed money here. I mean, isn't rent due?
It's gonna be a top. It's one. Look, I always come back to it's one game, but hey, Vic Fangio better get it done, right?
I think they're in trouble. I don't think they win that first game. I don't. But Jace, the Browns, check it out. So you make a move for Tyler Huntley. You trade for Jameis Winston. Do you like your guy you gave $250 million to? I mean,
well, he's hurt. He's hurt. He's not.
Well,
I mean,
no,
it's
it's
just,
reported that he started throwing today, just to be.
he's still hurt. He's still here. I
I
always go
know
back to
that.
this. Look, I'm going to go back to this with DeShaun Watson. What I've always been uncomfortable with about DeShaun Watson and Cleveland in this marriage, and the current state of affairs is he's hurt. But if you backtrack it to this, he only went there because they said, we'll guarantee the whole thing.
Right.
Right.
They bribed him.
Right. He never wanted to be there. He wanted to go home to Atlanta. And he said to Atlanta, guarantee the whole thing. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. Right. And instead of, okay, you don't want to guarantee the whole thing, I'm going there anyways, and I'm going to show you. It was, all right, I guess I'm going to Cleveland. It's not his place. That's where he wants to be. It's not where he's comfortable. It's not this. And I'm not even talking about all the off-field stuff. And it's not what he wanted in his life. So there's never this level of true satisfaction for a guy like that when he had the opportunity to go home. It's not like Atlanta wasn't looking. Atlanta was looking. They were willing to take him.
Carolina
He
too.
should, right?
Carolina too. I mean, because college.
Right. I mean, both of them were willing to take him
too.
at a certain price. They just weren't willing to take this price. And it's like, look, at a certain point, you got to enjoy what you're doing and why you're doing it and all those other things. There has to be importance to it. And if you're just living in a place that you don't like and you're not completely in, you're just not into it. And I know that there's $200 million to be into it and all that kind of other stuff that we talk about and everything else. But it's like, I just don't think he was really that happy. And if you're not happy in a place,
Jace,
it ain't going to work.
That is going to lead me to something that I'm going to go off the reservation on. You tell me if you have to pull me back in here. I just wonder if all that, and I'm not a judge or I'm not playing one here. I just wonder if all that off the field stuff made him less invested in what he was doing because when he was in Houston, he was electric. When I'm watching him now, it almost comes off as disinterested at times. Right. And it just, you got your money. People are going to have their opinions of you no matter what. He's probably a sensitive guy. Every NFL guy I've ever known, including yours truly, is a sensitive person when it comes to criticism. Of course. And you're like, I don't know, man. I think that took more out of his mental game than what people are saying.
Yeah, I absolutely.
Not everybody's a tough guy, Jace.
Well, he was humiliated publicly. I mean, and he bought that. That's his fault.
I got it.
He put himself out there. He bought it. Okay.
Oh, it's his.
Right. It's like there's very few guys who overcome that. Right. And he did, and he hasn't. And
Mike Tyson couldn't when he came out of jail. He got beat up every fight he fought in.
Right.
I mean, when look at Tiger. Tiger kind of rolled back, but not really. When you had mental things in your life that take you off the ball, Jason, it's hard to get back on that horse again, in my opinion. Listen, and I am not making excuses. People are going, hey, Sills, give me 230. I'll show you what it takes to. I get it. I'm not saying, but not everybody's a tough guy who gets up in the morning and goes and puts sheetrock on a house. You know what I mean? Not everybody's that guy.
Not, and even the guys who are putting sheetrock up, they're not always that guy either. They're not showing up for work, feeling it every single day either. But I get it, and this is why, he was the guy was in Houston, had his life all set up, got humiliated in Houston, got dragged around, having to be stuck on that team for a year not playing, then being suspended and not playing, and then all it all comes around to, man, I can't even go back to Atlanta. He should have just gone back to Atlanta. He should have just said because that would have put the pressure on him that he needed to sit up and go, you know what? I got to earn this contract, and I got to get back to playing my kind of game. And
because those Browns fans are like Eagle fans and Bills fans. They're not going to sit there and feel sorry for you. They want you to go in there and win ball games. They're not going to sit there and pat you on the head here. That's a stiff fan base in that area.
well, Atlanta's doing the same thing too. I mean, they weren't going to, like
It's more friendly because it's his home grounds.
Right, but it still would have been, hey, look, you better win. At a certain point.
I get
at
it.
a certain point. But the bottom line is, like, I see a guy he's not into it.
That's what I'm saying. I
just,
see him kind of get engaged, but then an injury here, and it's like, I'm out. And you're like, all right. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be a tough guy. I'm not questioning you, but I am, because I'm questioning your decision-making because of what you did off the field anyway. Why wouldn't I question this? You see what I'm saying?
This goes back to
I question his toughness, Jason, because I question your decision-making in life.
I'm not sure it's necessarily toughness, but it can be said that way. But I will always go back to something Nick Saban once said to me that rang true. And we were talking about some linebacker, I think it was coming out of Alabama at one point. This is before he went back to Alabama. This guy who had gotten in trouble in Alabama a bunch of times and was going through the supplemental draft, right? And we're talking about him. I was like, "Hey, this guy's really talented." He goes, "Yeah, but you always wonder about guys who they let something get in the way of playing football. Like, if you really truly love to play football."
And that's why Brady lost his wife. You don't let your Jason, what I try to explain to people, it's your first true love. I don't care what players say. You love your kid. You love your wife. You love that. And you grow to love it even more when you leave the game. But when you're in the game, the passion you have for the game, Michael Jordan, divorced. Tiger Woods, divorced. Ali, numerous relationships. When you're people like that, you sacrifice the ones around you because you have a true love of the game. It's just what it is.
Right. There are very few guys who keep it together. And I'm just
like
saying
Nicholas put it all together. Took his kids to like the McDonald's after he won a U.S. Open. That's where they celebrated. I mean, very few people are like that were able to have both lives like that. It's hard, man.
and I'm just saying that at a certain point, DeShaun Watson let other things get in the way of loving football. And,
it shows.
It's sad. He chose something and it overwhelmed him, and it's probably shot his interest in it. And it's too bad because he's a sensational player, but he hasn't been the same since. And I hope it
hasn't been the same since that situation. That just shows you this is more mental than a physical thing with him, in my opinion. And like you said, he hates playing there. The situation and all of that. He's homesick. And this thing has been a train wreck for both. It's just, again, like you said, you're watching a meltdown.
Yeah, you're watching it.
And the Browns know it, and that's why they went and got all these quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's why you always wonder about guys how they handle situations and whether they're just happy doing what they do. I go back to Jim Kelly. As much as he's loved in Buffalo, there's that great quote. He's like, "I didn't want to get drafted by the Bills."
Shit, he never wanted to leave the USFL in Houston.
Right. He had a great deal going. Right, but eventually had to go. He had the difference for a guy like Jim Kelly is he had no choice at a certain point. But if I'm going to play football, I got to go play in Buffalo, and I'm going to make the best of this. In the case of DeShaun Watson, he had a choice to go back to Atlanta. He chose the money over something that he loved. And when you choose the money over something that you love, you're choosing money over passion. And if you're choosing something over passion, you're not fully invested in it. And that will sometimes get in the way of whether you're great at something or not.
What do you think will go down as the worst trade in NFL history? The Russell Wilson trade to Denver or the DeShaun Watson deal from Houston to Cleveland?
Well, I mean, is Herschel Walker still in there?
You know,
It's a pretty bad trade.
it's a lot of money though, and it's a lot of draft picks on both ends.
I understand, but Herschel Walker's a lot of draft picks too.
I got it, but the money wasn't like this money. I mean, this is significant.
They're collectively
huge
they're
money
bad.
here.
There's Ricky Williams trade. There's the New Orleans trade its entire draft for Ricky Williams. There's a bunch of bad ones, but I would say the DeShaun Watson trade. It's up there as one of the worst of all time. No
this is the year, right? Where if it don't happen, it's never happening. Like, look at the people around him.
Although I'll say this: do you really believe Jameis Winston is an answer?
No.
Speaking of guys who
that just shows you when you're bringing people like that in. I love Tyler Huntley, by the way.
He's a tough kid. He's a tough kid. He doesn't have enough ability, but I like the way that he plays, how hard he plays. But look, Jameis Winston's there's another example of a guy.
He's a he's a better version of who's that Raider guy they took the first overall pick?
Jamarcus
Russell.
Oh, he's better than that. I mean,
Jamarcus Russell
never really had even a career. But I mean, my point with Jameis Winston is always, and I get this, like when you were talking about all the stuff that he did in college, the crab legs, the screaming obscenities, the involvement with the girl, whether it was rape or not rape, whatever way you want to talk. It's like, okay, if you have one incident in college where you get into trouble over something, I understand things happen, right? But when you continually have incident after incident, that's where I sit there and go, are you focused on what it takes to do what it is that you want to do? Do you love the act of being quarterback so much that you're like saying, I'm not bothering with all that?
Yeah.
You know, I'm done with that. Okay. I got in trouble with a girl. My bad. Never happen again. I'm not going to Publix and walking out with crab legs. I don't need to. You know, I don't need to do that. I don't need to scream obscenities in the cafeteria to just bring attention to myself to have a little fun. I don't need to do that. I already got in trouble one time, and it nearly cost me my college career. It nearly cost me the thing that I love the most. I'm not doing that anymore, right? He didn't do that. And so that's why you sit there and go, this is not a guy who ended up getting the most out of himself because he wasn't fully invested in it from the start. And that's the thing that teams, as we go into the draft, this is the most important question that teams have to answer. And it's the hardest one to answer. Is a guy invested in wanting to play a sport that is the toughest physical sport to play? It is going to test you every single day because it is a sport of misery.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Two last questions for you. What happened in Chicago with Justin Fields?
Nothing. I mean, they don't know how to develop quarterbacks. They went through a couple of different guys, and as good an athlete as he is, like he wasn't trained to be a professional quarterback. Ohio State didn't train him to be a pro quarterback. That's not their job. Okay, they trained him to work in their system, and he's not a guy who learned to go through progressions and all the other things that you have to do. He's not trained for the job yet. Will he become trained for the job? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he will not be able to see receivers. I mean, it's the same thing. His rookie year, I remember.
I don't think he'll be better than Tyrod Taylor.
Maybe not, but he's got physical ability where if you're a team, you say, I want to take a chance. It's like Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill was not naturally a quarterback when he came into the NFL. He did just enough in the right kind of system to become a competitive quarterback, right? When he got to a different place. It's Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon was not naturally a quarterback when he came into the NFL. It took years and years and years and years for him to finally kind of get it. And then he had an apex of his career in his 30s. Could Justin Fields do something like that? And maybe even better because he's a better athlete than either one of those guys? Maybe. but
You mean
he's
like
not
Geno?
there.
Do something
What?
like Geno Smith, where later on in his career, he has a couple blimp years on his resume where you go, hey,
Sure.
like
Yeah,
something like that.
right. I mean, but he hasn't been trained to like recognize blitzes. Or, early in his career, he couldn't recognize a blitz coming at him in a preseason game. He didn't see it and didn't know, okay, here's the hot. He got killed on that play. And teams figure that out and say, okay, you can't do this. And then they attack him. Then he finds an answer to that. He runs all over the place. And they're, okay, well, we can't let him run all over the place. And so we'll take that away from him and we'll force him to do normal throws. And he's just okay at that right now. He's got to get better at reading. He's got to get better at being accurate with the ball. But man, there's all the ability in the world. Some guys it takes a while to get there. And again, that's why I go back to guys like Gannon, a guy like Tannehill, a guy like Geno Smith. Sometimes it just takes a long time.
You bring that up. I'm going to close with this question. For the Steelers to give up on Kenny Pickett for as fast as they did, an organization that doesn't quit on anything, look at their head coaches. I mean, like I've told you before, there's 3 since 69. I mean, very few general managers. They believe in player development. They love to reinvest in their own draft choices. For them to move off of him that fast, is this more about getting, like you said earlier, Jason, this was more about Mike Tomlin and making sure Tomlin has the ability to win more games and get him back into a Super Bowl instead of just towing the line like they always do as an organization and moving off of him?
No, I think Pickett did this to himself more than anything else.
Oh, because he bitched about going to the backup role? Steelers aren't going to tolerate that kind of talk.
Mason,
you and I know the Roonies. That's not going to go well.
Right.
That's you could be a Steeler for life if you do the. They still serve fish on Fridays. Correct. Okay, I mean, these people are they're really good folks. I mean, that's a great organization. You get drafted as Steelers, no matter what the round is, there's a chance you're making the team.
The issue here was twofold. Didn't take the backup role. Did the whole I didn't learn anything from Mason Rudolph comment. just a stupid thing to say. Let his ego get in the way. And most of all, it's like, look, I know that George Pickens is a pain in the ass. It doesn't take a whole lot of phone calls to people from Georgia to find that George Pickens is a complete pain in the ass. But you got to throw the ball to him. Okay? If he doesn't run hard, he doesn't catch it, the team will notice and the team will figure out how to deal with George Pickens. But you, as the quarterback, you got to throw on the ball and just say to those guys, he ain't running hard on routes. You can't choose to shut him out when you're still trying to figure out if you're any good. You ain't Dan Marino who can send a message. You're not Tom Brady who can send a message to a player going, hey, you either run it out hard or I'm not throwing the ball to you. You don't have that kind of cachet of respect as Kenny Pickett. So you don't get to do that stuff. You run the plays, you throw the ball to the guy you get, and if he doesn't catch the ball, if he doesn't work hard for it, it's on him. But you weren't that guy. Not yet. And Kenny Pickett tried to be that guy, and he came off as a child.
Yeah.
That's on Kenny Pickett.
Absolutely. Jason, great stuff, man. There's a lot going on in the league as they dominate the front pages of the sports page always. Thank you so much, brother, for your time, and I meant that in my text to you, man. Thank you so much. I really
anytime, dude.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Anytime, be good.
You got it. That's our friend Jason Cole. Please hit the like button. Don't forget, this is very important. I'm looking for a select group of people. Now, somebody suggested we do 1,000. We're gonna put this down at 500 here. March Madness, as everybody knows, is one of the most bet on events in America next to the Super Bowl. JAKIB Sports and myself, we are looking for a select 500 people of our loyal viewers and subscribers to sign up with our great partner, Underdog Fantasy. Simple. This is not By the way, you put $10 in. That's the minimum. If you put $10 in, they're going to give you $10, so you're not really putting anything in. Everything you match all the way up until $100, okay? They're going to match it. So you're really not, you're just signing up. So like you could bail out of it and still make money on this thing here. Simple. All you have to do, everything you invest, you're getting our great partner here, Underdog Fantasy, to match it. So it's just really signing up. I see you, I'm awake. Are you 1,000? I don't know. So we're going to do it with, again, we're going to do it with 500 people. If the minimum is $10, they'll match it with 10, so you get 20 going into it. Now, remember, you have to use the promo code. That's WIN, W-I-N. That's W-I-N. I'm going to play along with you during the NC2A tournament. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. And again, a select few of our subscribers and viewers sign up now. You have to use the promo code WIN. Hit the like button. Don't forget also at 5 o'clock-ish, we're going to talk to the former Super Bowl MVP and New York Giant. That's going to be O.J. Anderson. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything. Everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz and Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming aboard. I got a message, and I didn't get a chance to put that back out there again. I got a message for Devontae. Don't sign on a contract extension with them. Do not give them the benefit of controlling your finances. Never do that. As you could see what they're doing with Haason Reddick, once they get the advantage on you, they'll keep it. And right now, in my opinion, Devontae's got the leverage on them. Haason doesn't. Okay? I mean, Haason Reddick. Okay? Haason Reddick doesn't have any leverage whatsoever with the Eagles. He has none. Okay? I'm not waiting until the end of the season either, Yale. I'm waiting to see what Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb do. Okay? I mean, Hollywood says that the Eagles have played Reddick like a fool. I don't believe that. I think they're telling him exactly how they feel about him with their actions. Anthony goes, Devontae wants to be an Eagle, Sills. That has nothing to do with being paid. Wanting to be an Eagle and getting paid have nothing to do with one another. Have nothing to do with one another. You guys really think that loyalty to a team supersedes paycheck? Holy cow. So let me ask you this. If you were offered a lesser job with lesser money and somebody was offering you twice the money, you'd take the lesser money? Who in the world thinks like that? Nobody. Nobody thinks like that. Well, he wants to be, hey, get this. I want a Ferrari too, but I know I can't get it. Not everything works out the way you want it to. And by the way, I agree with Yale. I don't think the Eagles played Haason Reddick like a fool. I think they basically told him where they are with his career. Hey, this guy has been a free agent 3 different times in his career. There's a reason for that. Elite pass rushers are not free agents 3 different times in their career, early in their career or in the middle of their careers. Von Miller, Khalil Mack, players like that, after being traded, sure, Khalil Mack has never in a million years just walked out of a team. He's been traded. Von Miller, too. I think Miller was a free agent after the Rams, and that's how or maybe he got traded to Buffalo. He may have been traded to Buffalo. Those guys, when you're a free agent and you're getting basically released by Carolina and Arizona, and you're supposed to be elite, the Eagles don't look at him as an elite ball player. They look at him as an exceptional pass rusher, but not an elite player. He's not an elite player, which means he's not $25 million. Elite players get $25 million. He's not an elite player. And the Eagles have told him that. And he doesn't like it. There's a part of me that says they probably offered him $18.5 and he felt disrespected. I think they're pushing him out. Who in their right mind wouldn't read that if that was your career? Wouldn't you look at it as the Philadelphia Eagles are pushing Haason Reddick out? Yale, how can it be maybe with all the things that we chronicled earlier, the drafting of Nolan Smith, the giving of permission to go seek a trade, signing a guy in Bryce Huff, giving Huff more money, and then moving your roster bonus that you earned to April 1 because it's a roster bonus. How in the world do you not look at that as a team pushing the guy out the door and off the roster? What are other teams offering? Can't be significant enough for him to have any negotiating talks. Or he would take it. I'll tell you what I would do. If I'm Haason Reddick and there's even a lesser of an offer by the Cowboys, I would take that to play against Philly. I would. Or Washington. Or the Giants. Just so I could play against them. Okay? I would take $1 million less. Because he's not going to get he's not a $20 million player. I wouldn't pay that guy $20 million. He's not good enough for that. Okay? They probably told him, right, Yale, 18, take it or leave it. With maybe some incentives that could push him up near 20. Maybe. But I guarantee you, you know what they probably did? They probably offered him a 1-year contract extension. Or maybe one and an option team friendly. And that wasn't good enough. They want to, it's probably the years. Okay? And I tell people this all the time. Screw the years. The years are phantom money. Get your money up front. Front end the contract like Jalen has. Dude, signing a 4-year contract at $20 million and a lot of the money's in the tail end of that deal, you'll never see it. You'll never see it. Okay? Sills, this won't be popular, but Philly can't wait for Smitty via the Jefferson contract. We need to build the D. I think Howie needs to consider the haul he'd get for. No way. No way. I'm trading A.J. Brown before I trade Devontae Smith. He's younger and he's more of a professional. No way. No way. I'd rather give Devontae Smith $20 million than him. Okay? I could build a team around a guy who's not going to bitch if he doesn't get 10, 15 targets a game. The Eagles are going to be better off one day without A.J. Brown when he's on that team. Because Jalen Hurts will be a better quarterback when they have another guy on the other end that kind of has a similar mentality as Devontae. They need another guy over there, in my opinion, that goes, I think, fits Devontae better. I don't think A.J. fits Devontae better. Okay? I don't. I think it's all Devontae Smith. Or it's all A.J. Brown. And it's all A.J. Brown. He gets the quality targets. And Smitty kind of gets the leftovers. You know how I know that? Because your tight end and your third wide receiver get really no targets. There's no play calling designs. Your wide receiver position in the 3 years that I've been talking Philadelphia Eagle football, you guys go into every game 10 versus 11 on offense. Okay? Yell goes, AJ's a top 4 receiver. So they don't bring you anything. They bring you no redeeming quality when it comes to winning championships. Nothing. Big money receivers take you further away from the pot of gold. It's a fact. No big money receiver wins Super Bowls. They just don't. It's guys like Wes Welker, Juju Smith-Schuster, players like Cooper Kupp before his big deal, who was a 3rd round pick or 2nd, forget. Guys like that. And once you start getting paid, wait a minute. I've told you this before. No big time. Has Devontae Adams even sniffed a Super Bowl? No. Has Tyreek Hill sniffed a Super Bowl under his $25 million deal? No. They traded him because he wanted 25 in Kansas City. We're not paying that. And they were right. Stephon Diggs is now cryptic notes because he's got a big number coming up and the Bills are moving off him. All the big money guys don't win Super Bowls. I mean, who? Debo? AJ? None of them. Justin Jefferson will never see a Super Bowl in Minnesota. He's going to make $30 million. What does it get you? Further away from the rainbow. It's funny how people want to pay both the receivers all that money when you want to continue to not address the defense. Sign Barkley. See, get this. Here's where the Eagles are. And let me show you what they did and where they're angling right now to go. They extended Landon Dickerson on offense, making him the highest paid guard in the league. They signed Barkley, making him the second highest paid wide receiver, and they're going to extend Devontae. And here's what they did on defense that has made the only impact. They brought Gardner Johnson back. Alex goes, Dan, you're making me feel bad about football. No. I'm telling you, Alex, that they have to be smarter about this. And get this, everyone is looking at some of these moves. And you know what? I'm going to make you feel better, Alex. You ready? Here's what I'm going to make you feel better. I like the fact they're doing. And not just sitting pat like Dallas. Dallas is not good enough. Here's the problem that Dallas has. Dallas is still trying to find out if they can find another wide receiver. Who, I shouldn't even say this. They restructured Sweat. That's a good move too. Should I say what's wrong with the Cowboys publicly? Rather do than not. Chris, you're right. Should I say publicly what's wrong with the Cowboys? Because it's very easy. And it's not anything to do with, well, there's something to do with the culture and Jerry. Okay? Now, Bob, you know what it is? Cowboys are chokers. Sills, remember, yeah. You know what? And you know what too, Martin? I'm going to be very interested to see how he plays. I will not lie. I can't wait to see that. Ringo, you're talking potential to me. So I don't know. And right now on March 19th, he is an unknown. And as of 19th, that's not good enough for me. Dallas lives in the past. They haven't been able, I'm going to say it, they haven't been able to replace the hammer, Ezekiel Elliott. They always, when they have been good, they have had a hammer. Emmitt Smith, Zeke. They moved the sticks when they had Zeke. Tony Pollard made him a finesse team. Tony Pollard never in a million years replaced Ezekiel Elliott. And I'm not saying Zeke was great at the end of his time in Dallas. He still was a 1,000-yard rusher, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in his final year in Dallas. And when they missed out on getting Derrick Henry, a colossal mistake. Dallas could have got away with an average number 2, okay, next to CD and Henry. But now you're talking about getting another wideout and a suspect back, and you're going to be a finesse team, and he's going to get killed this year because Dallas is not going to have a running game. Okay? Dude, Zeke's out of gas. He's not the answer. Like you guys said, he's in the past. Okay? He's in the past. They need somebody like a Josh Jacobs sign would have been great. Okay? Sills, big name running backs don't win Super Bowls either. Look, I'm saying they missed the hammer because Dak's not good enough to win a Super Bowl. He's not good enough by himself. Dak is in that category with Hurts and Brock Purdy. He's in the same category. Okay? That's not uncommon in this league. It's funny, somebody brought something up on my Twitter earlier. Well, Montana had great people around him. And that's not the case. Joe's first Super Bowl, he had no one around him. Montana didn't need anybody. And when they added Rice and Craig and then John Taylor, it was a mismatch because of Montana's greatness. Montana didn't need Jerry Rice to win Super Bowls because he had. I mean, Rice never won a Super Bowl without Joe. Oh, wait, I'll take that back. He won one with Young, who was also another Hall of Fame quarterback. Okay? We're not talking about the defense on the other side. I'm talking about the offensive skill set players that someone said that Joe had great players around him on offense. No, he didn't. That's not the case. Like you said, Burt Cooper, Freddie Solomon, Wendell Tyler. Okay, those guys are not household names when it comes to NFL greats. No disrespect to those guys because they did win that Super Bowl in Detroit. Okay? No quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl by themselves. Stop with this lie. What lie is that? I'm missing the lie. You'll have to tell me what the lie is. Okay? They didn't have a great tight end in San Francisco. Sills, I don't disagree about Smitty, but you get him more for him. AJ to Carolina for 33 and 39 sign up, but his contract makes it harder to move. It does. Next year, Bob, next year is the year you move on him. Okay? Roger Craig was not on that 49er team when they won their first Super Bowl. He was not. Okay? He was not on that team. I just told you who the back was Wendell Tyler. The tight end was Burt Cooper. Clark was not the tight end on that first Super Bowl. Not true. Dwight Clark was not. Patrick Mahomes is not a one-man team. Neither was Brady. Patrick Mahomes beat you with Juju Smith-Schuster. You have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. The level of talent on your roster and your offensive huddle is superior to anything Mahomes has. And yet you can't beat him. And nor can any other team beat him. There lies the challenge. You have to load up your offense to beat him because your quarterback's not good enough. That's not just an isolated situation for the Eagles. He's not good enough to beat Mahomes in any game of significance. And nor is anyone else. Nor is anyone else. The only guy that's really challenged him has been Brady and Burrow. Burrow had to go through him to get to the Super Bowl, and he beat him in an AFC title game in Kansas City. So when you say that, Burrow has gone into his Kansas City and beaten him. Let's not forget that. Very, very, very hard to beat. And look at Brady. Look, here is, let me show you the comparisons between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy and Peyton Manning. Yeah, see if you can follow along with this. And everyone else, if you can follow along. Tom Brady won all those Super Bowls with guys like Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, and Amendola. And those guys. Okay? And Gronk. Gronk was a second rounder, though. And Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison. Had Reggie Wayne. Had Marshall Faulk. Had Edgerrin James, Marshall Faulk, Dallas Clark, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and they won one Super Bowl in the Brady era. How could Brady beat you and beat that talent? So you're telling me that Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and Marshall Faulk or Edgerrin James, and you couldn't beat Sony Michel and Julian Edelman and Amendola and Brady? And he had one guy in Gronk? Well, look at what Mahomes does to Brock Purdy and to Jalen. You have Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Now you have Barkley, Goddard, a great line, and you can't beat that guy with one dude. There lies the difference in greatness. There lies the difference. Very seldom, get this, very seldom do you get Aikman, Smith, and Irvin in a great O-line. Very seldom do you get that. You don't really get that anymore and have that amount of success. You just don't. That comes down to great coaching, too. Coaching and defense, right, Sean? That's what Dallas had. And talent evaluating. See, talent evaluating, Philly's not that hot. College-wise, defensive-wise. You beat Mahomes last season in a game that meant shit. Congratulations. You won the consolation game. They beat you in the Super Bowl. Look at this guy. This guy's taking a victory lap on beating Mahomes in the regular season when they were still trying to get their wide receivers in order. And they win their third Super Bowl in 4 years, and he's taking a victory lap on the same football team that got their ass kicked by the Giants and the Cardinals and the guy in Seattle, Drew Lock. Congratulations to you, guy. Spectacular. You really followed those wins up against Buffalo and the Chiefs with losses to Seattle, the Cardinals, and the Giants. Way to follow it up, dude. Sounds like you got a hell of a system there. Okay? Heck of a system you got rolling there. Celebrating regular season wins. You sound like Nick Sirianni now. Congratulations to you. Hey, we beat the Chiefs in the regular season. Yeah, they beat you in Arizona in Super Bowl 57. Ooh, that's got to hurt. Okay? Work in progress, Sills. Keep the faith. What's a work in progress? Your defense? Where have you upgraded? Safety. Okay. So Mahomes doesn't have an elite O-line? No. He's got an elite tight end, great center. You got to do some work still in probably interior-wise, their guards aren't bad. I don't believe their tackles are that hot. And their running back they found in the 7th round. Talent evaluating. Lenny, look at Lenny taking a bow for a guy they found in the 7th round, and you just paid $13 million for a running back who hasn't done shit in New York. Okay. Oh, he was great his rookie year. I forgot. In the last 4 since his knee injury, he's been 700 yards a season, something like that. Okay. Nick's your leader. Holy cow. It's like Captain Ahab chasing Moby Dick. Oh, my God. Hey, Nick Sirianni's Captain Ahab. That may be a little too deep for some of you. Okay? That may be a little too deep because I don't know if many of you know, especially a guy like Prince. I don't know if you know who Captain Ahab is. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Okay? It's all right. Who cares where he was drafted? Irrelevant. Bryce Huff is no slouch. Bryce Huff can't play the run. Okay? William, are you really? Holy cow. Who can, let's see here. Thank God no one will ever hire you to coach. I turned it down, actually. And I've turned down personnel jobs, too. White whale. Hey, yeah, the white whale. That's Nick. Oh, my God. Oh, the white whale. Holy shit. The white whale. Okay, so let's do this. This will be fun. Hey, I'm starting to ask myself, why do I inflict this pain on me? You should see thank God my aunt can't read Twitter. I had a guy, get this, I had a guy compare me to Hitler. because I said Jalen Hurts is Brock Purdy. I showed it to my wife. She's like, okay. I mean, really? And I go, hey, some of these Eagle fans, man, they take their Jalen Hurts really serious. And then she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, how do you feel about it? I go, well, I think that's funny, but I was like, and then, of course, it always goes, well, he hates it because he's black. And you're like, no, I hate him because he's dual threat. And I'm not going to quantify that because it's just not. Stupid. And so I get it. I get it. Okay? Hey, James goes, Philly fans. Oh, no, James. You go over to my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. It's actually, would you not agree? That's, hey, it's a continual road. Get this. Hey, Jacob, this guy's the worst guy. And I don't know how Big Joe and Sander take this shit. Hey, but see, they're smart. You know why? Because what they get is they get the national cheerleading champ, Bill Colarulo, right? To earlier so that he can, get you guys feeling all good and shit about, how great your season was last year and how it was everyone else's fault and not Jalen Hurts' fault. So he rolls you back in, and I give it to him. I mean, Jody and, Burst 365 in the morning, those guys, they're kind of balanced. That sucks. They're kind of like really good at what they do. That damn John McMullen, I'll tell you something about him. John McMullen, he calls me a shock jock. I'll say this to you. Hey, man, when I want to, no, I'm not going to go there, but I'll tell you this. John, people watch him. He's like the Lawrence Welk of He's like the Lawrence. Some of you don't even know who that is, but he's the Lawrence Welk of JAKIB Media. And you know why I say that? Do you know what the highest rated show in the history of TV is? It's the Lawrence Welk Show. Johnny Carson made a comment about this. He goes, you never know what's going to work in broadcasting. Everyone thought that the Johnny Carson show, and then Johnny goes, you know what show killed shows all the time? Was Lawrence Welk. He took comedy shows off the air, had the highest ratings in his time slot for like 20 years, 25, 30 years. Nobody could beat him. And he goes, this one, you think something's horseshit? Don't ever in a million years ever go, hey, that'll never work. Because when they put Lawrence Welk on, he put other shows out of business. I mean, that's a fact. And now we have the Polish polka. And I'm going, I used to watch that thing with my folks. Now we have a great serenade from the Polish polka. And you're like, what is this? Massive ratings, get 10 shares. You're like, holy shit. Yeah, right. And Jack Parr's off the air. You guys don't know it. Oh. Hey, dude. Yeah, it was the highest rated show. Hey, Sills, you should let a random caller talk to you once a week or so. I don't think that's a bad idea, Lenny. I don't. And you know what? I might have to pick it from our new promotion we're doing or from the super chats. So we have to have a distinction there. Okay? So I'll come up with something. All-Pro Devin White beat Mahomes. All-Pro Devin White. There you go, Arthur. Keep the faith, dude. 1 year, prove it deal. Patrick Queen gets a 3-year, $18 million deal. Your boy gets a 1 year, prove it deal. Congratulations. Let's go, Arthur. That's what I thought about you, Sills. Loose cannon. You never know what's going to come out. James, that's why most people in broadcasting are afraid of me. And that's why I've been one of the most successful guys of all time. And that's why the Wall Street Journal's called me the most controversial guy of all time in sports talk. Miami Herald, too. It's true. Not me. I didn't quote myself. Wall Street Journal did. This guy here, man, he's just a controversial. I've never heard anything like it. I'm like, really? Well, that could be, hey, if we ever put that to a test, there'd be a bloodbath in here. Sills, wouldn't you be more like Mussolini Goomba? No, I'm not a communist or a fascist guy. I'm a Sileoist. I have my own beliefs. Yeah, me and my aunt don't talk politics anymore. Thank God. Okay? Nor with my daughter either. Holy Maran. Oof. I voted for a certain guy in the last election. I didn't get spoken to for a year almost. Sills, you catch Devin White's press conference? Let me guess. Joseph, I'm really going to take this opportunity to come here in Philadelphia and turn my career around. I'm really going to try hard. I'm not going to bail on my team. I'm not going to pout like I did when I didn't get my contract. I'm not going to get beat out and benched at the end of the year so that the Buccaneers crush the Eagles with me on the bench. And I'm going to prove to everyone that I'm not a fifth pick stiff. Any questions? Any questions? Devin, how come it didn't work in Tampa and they just quit on you? Well, that's their mistake. No, what do you think happened? Well, I don't know. So you don't know what happened in Tampa to your own career being there 6 years. Are you confronting me? No, I'm just asking a question. How come you didn't succeed? Most people are working on their second contract, the fifth pick. How come you're not? No. Hey, no, Sills. He said he expects to fail. Well, it'd be right in line with his career so far. Oh, yeah, 6 years. That's a good career so far. Then why did they let him walk out the door? And if he's so good, Mr. International, why are the Eagles giving him a 1-year prove-it deal? Well, don't you sign him to a 3-year deal like Patrick Queen got? That's a contemporary of his. See, here's the difference between Patrick Queen, moving on, and Devin White. He got a 3-year deal from an organization that doesn't usually do that. At $17.8 a year, Devin White gets a $3 million deal that you can make money if he's still on the field. But that's not even a given he's going to be on the roster come September. I give Devin White a B- career? That's rich. When 5 of the 6 years he's been ranked and rated as one of the worst tackling linebackers and pass cover defenders in the NFL. That's why the Bucs walked away from him. This isn't an opinion. I try to tell you folks, this is why, listen, you know what I'm doing here? If somebody goes, Sills, you're making me really not like my team. No, I'm trying to make you lower your expectations until you see something significant. Here's the significant moves the Eagles have made so far. Landon Dickerson is spectacular. You know why? You're reinvesting in your draft picks in player development. It's a perfect pick, and he's a second rounder. That's a win. You know why Josh Sweat's deal's so good? You drafted him in the 4th round. Is this his 3rd restructure or something? That's a really good deal. Reinvesting in your investment. You are player development. Those are huge wins. Those are huge wins. You drafted correctly. You player development correctly. And he's working on extensions and he's part of your future in second and third deals. My friends, that's how you win in the league. is player investment, reinvestment, not putting the Band-Aids on the defense. Dude, do you understand that you have an aircraft carrier over there on the defensive side that's taken many, many hits and has a lot of holes in it, and that could sink at any time. And it's that way every year. You really don't have a foundation on defense. You don't really have foundational players there. Josh Sweat's the closest foundational player you have. Jalen Carter could be. I'm thinking he's going to be. Jordan Davis ain't. Kobe Dean ain't. I'm talking about players you drafted. What players have you drafted on defense right now are going to be benchmark players and foundation pieces to your team? Who? Who do you think is this? Arthur guy is the same guy that told me Rashad Penny was going to be a superstar and Kobe Dean was going to be. This guy's off the rails. Landon Dickerson doesn't play defense. Name me a defensive football player that's a foundational player today. On your defense, Milton Williams is a backup. That's not a foundational piece. Name me one player. Josh Sweat? Okay. Your actions dictate that. Who else? Potentially Jalen Carter? Dude, Jordan Davis has to have a big year, or get this, I'm not picking up his fifth-year option. Not a chance. Carter, we'll see. Let's see him put 2 years. Look, I thought he had a great rookie year. I did. Devin White's going to impress this year. Well, that'd be something new because he hasn't in half a decade. Mark this post. So you have Arthur who's telling you that a guy who hasn't played well in 5 years and was benched in the playoff game, a healthy bench. Do you understand he was benched at the end of the year for your playoff game? Actually, he was benched for the last 4 games of the year in a playoff run. He was benched. Sidney Brown is not a foundation piece. Not true. He is not a foundation piece. I don't know if he's good. Again, you're projecting, Howie. Sidney Brown could be Nakobe Dean. I don't know. You're not building your team around Sidney Brown. March 19th, you have no idea who he is. Okay? Eagles made a mistake not getting Seth Joyner in the building. Might have been able to turn Devin White's career around. You're telling me that Todd Bowles couldn't turn his career around, who's considered one of the better defensive coordinators in the league, and that somehow Seth was going to do it? Dude, you're not. Todd Bowles won a Super Bowl as a D coordinator. Okay? That guy pretty much knows what he's doing. What does rings have to do with Super Bowls, though? I'm not understanding that. Seth Joyner won't be hired because he doesn't kiss ass. Sam, you know what's sad about that? No, that's not it. Kissing ass. Sam, Seth Joyner won't be hired as a linebacker coach in that organization because they can't take constructive criticism. And they can't take criticism. If you'll call people on me, okay, and because I say something about a quarterback or a general manager, and they can't take criticism from a nobody like me, they're certainly not going to take criticism from a linebacker coach or a defensive coordinator in the building that doesn't like a direction of what they're doing. Think about that. They're so sensitive that people get on me from that organization, calling my bosses You think they're going to put Seth Joyner in the building? Honestly. Come on, man. It's an organization that does not like criticism, namely the owner. They'll manufacture anything or a story of any type to bully you. That's BS, Sills. They're grown men. No. Remember something. The owner of the Eagles cares more about control. Okay? He cares more about control than he does a Lombardi trophy. Their actions dictate that. They care more about control, or they would have more. See, if he acted more like Bob Kraft, the owner of the Eagles, you guys would have multiple Super Bowls because Doug would have delivered Super Bowl 57 to you. But they can't get out of their own way. That's why they've underachieved under him. One Super Bowl, all that winning, it's about control. Sounds like Jerry? Not as desperate as how Jerry acts. All the Georgia guys, the ones with national title rings, have brought nothing to the team so far. Zero, except Jalen Carter. Correct, Arthur. All those Georgia guys, nothing. Except Carter. Nothing. I'm not sold on this team until I see product come together. Let's see what kind of motor they have towards the end of the season. Yeah, I mean, death row. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I completely agree. Seth Joyner coaching in the NFL is banned. All coaching now are young, soft dudes. No, you have to know this. Seth's not going to work with an analytics department. He would do it because he would have to. But no one wants to be told that this is why we picked Nolan Smith over, say, this player. Or why you take Jordan Davis over Keith Hamilton. Keith Hamilton didn't have a great combine. Jordan Davis did. Who's the better player? Keith Hamilton. Or Kyle Hamilton, excuse me, the Notre Dame kid. Okay? Look at the Jets making moves. Tyron Smith. They got Mike Williams now. Mike Williams has got an injury history. Okay? There you go, James. Thank you very much. I'm glad that we were able to go along with you. Okay. I've watched the Eagles every year that Lurie has been owner. And you're absolutely right, Sills. Tony, if he acted more like Kraft and stepped back and allowed his football people to do their job, maybe Howie would even be a better talent evaluator when it comes to allowing his people to be more involved in the draft. But it just seems that there's micromanaging that goes on, and the micromanaging gets in the way. And that's why you have more Super Bowl losses than Super Bowl wins in your franchise's history. Now, obviously, the one in 80 doesn't hang on his hat. But, 04 does. 22 does. That hangs on his hat. And to win one Super Bowl in 31 years with the amount of winning that you guys have done in the NFC East, I think he's underachieved as an owner. Especially when it comes to the most important thing on the planet, delivering championships, celebrating like some of you guys do, regular season wins like the wins. Get this. Some of you are very happy with beating the Chiefs in the regular season. And some of you think that's a stepping stone win. And that's how I look at wins like that. Those are stepping stone wins. Are they significant? Yeah. But they're not the end all. Okay? Okay? Yeah. Okay? True, Sills. That's wild. They're 1-3 under him. Well, 1-2 under Jeffrey Lurie. And quite frankly, you should have won those two Super Bowls. Definitely the Super Bowl 57. Okay? Right? And maybe the Andy Reid one. Sills, Pittsburgh with no, San Francisco with Walsh, Dallas with Jimmy, New England with Bill, and KC with Reed. Howie and Lurie should work on developing a staff. Great staffs put good players. That's another great take, Bob. You're on your A game, Bob. That's absolutely correct. Think about this, too. Pittsburgh, with all those great coaches that they had on that coaching staff, many went on to become NFL head coaches. The 49ers staffs with Walsh and all them, Mike Holmgren worked on them staffs. Mike Shanahan worked on those staffs. Jimmy, Belichick. I mean, remember something about Belichick? Parcells never won a title without Bill. Never won one. Okay? Lori and Howie are controlling because what Chip did to the Eagles. Why would Jeffrey Lurie have a concern with what Chip did when it was his decision to give it to Chip? I give him credit for at least trying to steer the ship in a different direction. See, I look at that Chip Kelly hire differently than you guys do. You guys look at it as a mistake. I look at it as here's a positive. I look at something that Jeffrey Lurie did as a positive that you guys all look as a negative. Him hiring Chip Kelly, albeit wrong guy, still had a winning record. At the end of the day, though, it shows me he's capable of pivoting on course direction. If he sees so fit, he'll do it. That means he's open to doing anything, which means nobody's safe, and that's a good thing. Keep everybody on their toes, including Howie Roseman. If you're capable of hiring Chip Kelly, you're capable of doing it again, hiring a type of player or coach like that doesn't go down status quo. Okay? Chip improved the nutrition in the cafeteria. Hey, I say he's a better coach than Nick Sirianni. You know why? Again, Barb, he has a job. Or he had a job. Nick doesn't have a job. There's no job for him. Think about that. Nick Sirianni is the least qualified coach that the Eagles have had in 25 years. He's the least qualified. He doesn't even have a job right now. What's his main responsibility? What? Cheering for the team? What? It's not play calling. It's not designing the offense. They've hired a guy for that. What exactly does he do? Think Tank, thank you, man. I think Atlanta's going to do well this year. Could win the NFC South. Got to do a little bit more on defense. I love Raheem Morris. I was very hard on him when he was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Very hard on him because I didn't think he was qualified to be a head coach. And I so told him that to his face and on the air. I did that at a Super Bowl presser. When he was named, I had him on the air, and I said, did you think you were getting fired? Because he was on the Gruden staff, and he thought he was getting fired. But I love Raheem. I think he's ready to go. I think he'll learn a lot what happened in Tampa and all of his stops. And plus, Rich McKay is in the building. Remember something. Rich was there when Raheem was there in Tampa. And I love Raheem Morris. And I think Rich, the president of the organization, who's been on this program. By the way, I'm trying to get him on because he's also the chairman of the NFL Competition Committee. And he's been on, I think, twice, Sander, right? Something like that. Okay. I think he's been on twice. And he was the general manager and gave me one of my greatest compliments. It's too bad it was a shitty one. Hey, too bad we screwed your career up, Sills. You know, we didn't know how to use you. I got that sound clip and I posted it a couple days ago. It's on my Twitter page. Hey, we screwed your career up. I'm not saying I didn't help because I didn't. Because I did. All right. We have to take a time out here. And we are going to get without a doubt, one of our favorite people on. We're going to be getting on real quick. At the top of next hour, we're going to be getting on our friend, OJ Anderson. Okay? Hit the like button. Don't forget also, please do me a favor. Okay? Please do me a favor. Working him now? Okay, we're working to get OJ now. Let me, before we get OJ on, let me do this here. March Madness, I need some help from you guys. And we got a truly great event. I want to put this out there for you. JAKIB Sports is looking for a select 500 folks of our loyal viewers to subscribe and sign up with our great partner, Underdog Fantasy. Now, this, we are making it exclusive. Some people think we should put like 1,000, but I'm saying 500. So let's go there. The minimum is only $10 with Underdog Fantasy. And all you got to do is do this. By the way, the minimum is $10 and they're going to match it. They're going to match it. So you're really not putting any money up into this thing here. Okay. They're going to match it. You can go as high as $100 and they'll match that $100. This is for the March Madness tournament. And I'm going to be involved with this as well, along with you. Remember to use the promo code WIN. WIN. That's WIN. WIN. JAKIB Sports and Underdog Fantasy. We're going to, again, give you an opportunity to make some money during the NCAA's March Madness tournament, the second most bet on event that we have in our country next to the Super Bowl. The minimum is $10. Like I said, it's $10 and we'll go as high as 100. So like if you put $10 in, you automatically double your money with 20. So you got $20 in your pocket that you are able to bet with. Simple as that. Same thing with $100. You put 100 in and you're able to get another $100 from Underdog Fantasy. This is for the March Madness tournament and the promo code is WIN. We're efforting our friend OJ Anderson. We'll try to get him on now. So we'll keep it going here because we're trying to get him on around this time right now. Or Xander, should I take a small timeout right now? You think I should take a timeout and let's see if we can roll through and try to hook up with him? You can hit a break. I talked to OJ. He's coming soon. All right. Let's hit a break here. When we come back, OJ Anderson's going to join us. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz and Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. I had a conversation with Rick Gosselin and with who was on the other day, Jared Bell, and also Jason Cole and Howard Balzer. And our next guest, you know what they said? Should be in Canton. And it's been one of my things that I have always brought up. O.J. Anderson has done all this. Super Bowl MVP. By the way, his first 2 years in the league, we all knew he was great at Miami, University of Miami. But when he got in, I think he was around 3,000 yards rushing in his first 2 years. The only other guy to have more rushing yards is Dickerson than what he did. I looked it up. In his first 2 years, he's got more rushing yards than anybody other than Dickerson. He was the Rookie of the Year. He was the Player of the Year. All of that. And we get him on here because Saquon Barkley has now come to Philadelphia, and as former Super Bowl MVP with the New York Giants, our friend, it is O.J. Anderson. How you doing, brother? O.J., you there? O.J., you're muted. Let's see here. O.J., you're muted. Let's see here if we can. I don't think he sees it here. You are muted. If we're able to get him here. Hopefully we can reconnect. He muted him. There he goes.
You hear me now?
I got you now, OJ. How you doing,
Can
my
you hear
friend?
me?
Yes, sir. How you doing,
I'm doing
OJ?
well. How you doing?
Very good, man. Hey, what'd you make
Good,
of my
good.
little rendition about how I've talked to all these Hall of Fame voters, and they're in belief that you belong in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And you know what? I say that, and I go like this. Okay, well, let's have some action here on getting OJ into the Hall of Fame. I mean, you truly have to believe you belong in that place in Canton.
Well, I mean, if you're going off stats, they're there. There's no doubt about it. You can look at how many touchdowns, carries, yardage. There are people in there that are has less credentials than I do, but they're in there. So I don't know what they're judging it on.
Absolutely. OJ, let me get to you on Barkley coming to Philadelphia. What do you make of that? And Saquon coming to the Philadelphia Eagles, and were you happy? Were you sad? Give me your feelings on him leaving the New York Giants and going to Philadelphia.
Well, when you lose a key element to your team, you don't like it. It's like when I got traded from the Cardinals and went to the Giants. It wasn't a good goodbye. A little different than Barkley. Barkley, willingly went to Philly. I was traded with no choice. So as a player, you got to follow the money. I guess that's what he said. He had to follow the money. It's his opportunity to take care of his family and to set himself up for the rest of his life. Because football is, if is the letter NFL mean not for long. So he took full advantage of those words.
Do you think he lived up to the number 2 draft choice overall? And do you think he delivered in his time in New York as a running back for the Giants?
Hello?
Yeah. Did you hear me, OJ?
Hello? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I did. Did you?
What is happening?
Okay. OJ, can you hear me?
You in the freeze frame? Are you Dan? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I'm
Right,
going to
Dan.
do this one more time. Can you hear me, OJ?
Yeah, you're freezing. I'm in a pretty good location, so I got all bars. So I don't know.
Yeah, we're pretty good too. Can you hear?
Go ahead.
OJ, I'm going to ask you a question. Hopefully you can answer this. Do you think that Saquon Barkley
Is it a
lived
bad
up to his
connection?
potential? All right. Let's see if we can reconnect again here, Xander, because this is not going anywhere here. It's on his end. It's actually not on our end because we're good here, and hopefully we're able to connect here and get him on. I know, right, Tyler? I'm like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sounds like I'm talking to my wife on the phone when she's at the grocery store. Ridiculous. Those Giants always beat the Cowboys. No, they don't. Actually, the Giants and Barb, I think you're goofing because Saquon Barkley is 0-10 versus the Cowboys. So he hasn't done that. And they haven't beaten the Dallas Cowboys on a steady basis. They haven't. Let's see if we can reconnect. Let's see if
Dan, you just went completely blank.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of people say I do that anyway, OJ.
Is it my location or just you?
I think it could be both here, but right now you look great. So let me get a question in about Barkley. Do you think Saquon Barkley lived up to the number 2 draft pick as a New York Giant?
Is it me or is it you? I mean,
I think it's you. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where we're going with this then. Yeah, that's all right. We're going to have to do maybe another time with this because, man, I wanted to get that question because here's a guy that was a Giant that won 2 Super Bowls. And I don't think it's going to work, Big Sales. No, I'm with you. We're going to roll out of it. So just give him a text, and we're not going to do that for a third time. That third time's a strikeout. So we'll get him tomorrow. And I remember OJ hated him. He used, dude, nice play on words, Sean. Great play on words. He misinterpreted. I forget. Right. So let's do that. And let's kind of hang there a little bit with what I was going to, and I'll go down the line here, what I was going to do with Barkley and what I was going to ask OJ. Once again, Saquon Barkley is going to have an opportunity this year to prove that he was worthy of that number 2 overall pick and all the things people say on how good he is as a player. And they're going to get an opportunity, in my opinion, to see if that guy will finally live up to his billing when he came out of Penn State. So far, he hasn't. He's not an elite running back. Now, people are going to say, and rightfully so, Sills, he never, and I hear Bill do this. He goes like this, Sills, he never really played with great people. Okay, that's very true. The New York Giants, since Tom Coughlin and Jerry Reese have left, have not been a good organization. All good. Okay, and you're right. But sometimes great players like Derrick Henry, and to some extent even Josh Jacobs, overcome bad offensive football teams. Barkley's first year was great. Now, look, like I said, who do you think makes a bigger impact on the team this year being added? Bryce Huff, Saquon Barkley, or Gardner Johnson? Gardner Johnson? Gardner Johnson? Okay, Gardner Johnson? I mean, we'll see. I personally look at the Giants. They're not a threat in the East. Just kind of some of the stuff that we were going to ask OJ a little bit. I want to reset some of the stuff that we've been hitting on how we opened up the program today. I want to get back to that in our open, what we opened up the program with. There is no doubt this year that the Eagles right now with Reddick and how this stuff has been handled. Now, let me say this to you. How many people believe that Haason Reddick will be brought back to the Philadelphia Eagles? What has Henry done? Look at this right here. What has Henry done? What has Henry done? Are you trying to say that Saquon Barkley had a better career than Derrick Henry? Okay. Sills, would you say Saquon's like Ezekiel Elliott? I like that comparison. Okay. Okay. You really think that Barkley had a better career than Derrick Henry? Okay. Who said that? Really? What has Henry done? The Red Hot said, what has Henry done? Don't let me look, dude. Don't let me embarrass you. Don't let me embarrass you. I would have rather have had Henry too. It's not close. Saquon Barkley's not going to the Hall of Fame. Derrick Henry's the first ballot Hall of Famer. And you're right. Flexen's right. You're delusional. Completely delusional. I mean, his career embarrasses Saquon Barkley's career. And he played on a shitty team too. Hey, and his quarterback was Ryan Tannehill and a bunch of nobodies. Tell you this, if they were smart, they would have played Derrick Henry at linebacker and running back. No way Reddick's back. Let's get back to that. So tell me why you think the Eagles don't respect, and I'll say it one more time. And James, I hope we have, because this is, I want this as a clip. When it comes to Haason Reddick and the Eagle relationship. Personally, I do not believe that the Philadelphia Eagles in any way want Haason Reddick back, and they are pushing him out the door. Nobody in that market has the gonads to say that, but they're not looking at the actions of the organization themselves. There are a number of things that have happened in the last 2 years to set this point up to push Reddick out the door. And all of them are in front of you, but some of them you're not listening to or you don't want to believe. Tyler says, no, they are not. You see, you got a portion of your fan base that thinks that the Eagles are not pushing a guy out the door. How many people believe in here that the Eagles are pushing Haason Reddick out the door? Guy like Tyler doesn't believe it. Well, Tyler, let me help you out here. Eagles want Reddick to take a hometown discount, Sills. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. They want him out. They want him out. I'm going to give you the examples. Hey, Flexen, they don't want him to stay. How when I put these out there, that it's clear to see. It's either Fangio, Howie, they've come to an organizational decision that he says, why? Here's why. Why did you draft Nolan Smith? You drafted Nolan Smith to replace Reddick. You then turned around on day one of free agency and signed Bryce Huff and paid him more. Even Xander. said the same thing. And I don't mean even Xander, but Xander pointed it out, and he's right. He goes, they want Huff to play like Reddick, and they have Reddick. You're gambling that Huff will be Reddick, and you're gambling that Smith will be Reddick when you have Reddick. You then have been granted permission to seek a trade by the Eagles saying, hey, you can find a better place to play. Go ahead. Then they take a roster bonus and push the date to April 1st. I'm wondering if that's significant, April 1st, because it's April Fool's Day. Okay? And you're telling me they're not pushing him out the door. How do you come to that conclusion? When everything that I just laid out and how they're, by the way, I don't think it's a shitty way that they're handling Reddick. I think it's an honest way. We don't think you're the player that you think you are, $20 million. We went out and got a player just like you. We told you you could go seek a trade, and we haven't offered you anything. How is that not being pushed out? Explain that to me. Guys like Tyler don't see that. Players are being microwaved. Players used to be developed now. This player doesn't get right for them. We should bring back the coaching tree. Okay? Dude takes on different teams. Aaron, shut up. Okay? Wait, you don't like to hear that your football team hasn't addressed your defensive side of the ball? Go listen to one of them cheerleader shows, cheerleading tryouts. You can upload your thing by March 23rd for you to be able to upload put your little skirt on. I'm sure they're looking for cheerleaders like you to go there and they like big pom-poms, Aaron. So go to the website, PhiladelphiaEagles.com. And what you can do is you can upload your cheerleading outfit and your cheerleading audition. They're taking them until the 23rd. You got 4 days, dude. You and that afternoon guy at WIP and many of those guys over there can upload all those things. You better get in there, too, because our guy, Bill, I'm sure Bill's real big on social media, and he's real big on videos and such. I'm sure he's got like 70 of them up there already with audition tapes. I mean, I'm sure Xander's helped him too. I mean, hey, and James. Shit, James, man. I'm sure he's probably made a big old graphic for him. Hey, this is my audition tape for the biggest cheerleader in Philadelphia sports and how everything's all right. Yeah, go coach. Yeah, it's all right. He's a good guy. You make sure you watch his show. He does a nice job too, by the way, here on the network. And I dig Bill. I do. It's kind of a backhanded slap, but I apologize, Bill. Hey, okay, here's an idea. Keep Reddick and upload other 8 so-called players on D. Unload. Dude, they're not keeping Reddick. Okay? They're not keeping Reddick. No, Niners. I'm not clowning Bill. You got to have a cheerleader on your network. It just can't be me and Angelo telling the truth. Are you kidding? Hey, it just can't be me. I mean, look, man. I mean, see, big sills of shows like the Supreme Court. Okay, we got an opinion, and we kind of go by the law of the rule here and how the things are working, and we're, they give you some justice here. Angelo's a fool. Really? I know, man. He sucked for 39 years on the air. I know. I love those guys like me, 35 years, and Angelo, 39 years. Man, we've sucked for almost 4 decades. It's incredible how bad we sucked. Okay, Ike is the afternoon guy. Talking shit about Ike, oh yeah, right, whatever, Steve. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy who gave a standing ovation and wanted to throw out like tulips and flowers on the ground when A.J. Owens called in. Hey, let's give him a round of applause. I didn't do that. Okay? Let's give him a round of applause for calling in to Dr. Noenstein because A.J. Owens was just a little upset with the way things were being portrayed. That's your captain, too. Yeah, hey, anytime he needs a psychiatric evaluation, he calls WIP. You know, usually you call like 1-800-HELP-ME. He calls 1-800-WIP. Hey, I got to get something off my chest. Oh, shit. Man, would I get the hook if I was on IP right now? Oh, my God. Don't worry, I'll get a call later. Dan. Holy shit. I'll get a call later, believe me. Dan. Hey, yeah, Xander. You know, you gotta take that video. Oh my God. Hey, we had to take that video down. Which one was that? I don't know. It could have been any one of them. Yeah. Yeah, but it was on your private one. What? Oh, man. Okay. Let's see. Eagles give him every chance to get more money from other teams. The Eagles thought he wants more money. Dude, Steve, nobody's offering him money or he'd be gone. Okay? He'd be gone. Hey, oh, holy shit. I've never had this comparison. Okay, it's a compliment to be insulted by Sills. He's like Don Rickles. Hey, guy. Hey, let me just say this to you, Anthony. You couldn't put Don Rickles on the air today. You couldn't put him on the air. Sorry, we're having a little technical issues here. Hopefully it straightens itself out here. Xander's doing everything he can right now to get us back. We've had all kinds of...
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything. Everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz and Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Had to be Big Bill. Had to be Big Bill yanking the cord on Big Bill. Big sells here. Yeah, it had to be, right? Or Howie. Told you, sells. Too much shit talking. Dom got me. That's what it was. Dom put the Maloik on me. Like he put it on Dre Greenlaw. Don put the Maloik on his ass. Oh, yeah, you got me in trouble? Well, watch this. Achilles. That's Big Dom. Notice I don't aim it at you guys. Very dangerous. It's one of the most dangerous things anyone could ever happen to them. Is if an Italian drops the Maloik on you and aims it in your direction. Don't ever you get like 13 years of bad luck. So when Dom did it, Dre Greenlaw, Achilles, bang, gone for 6 months. How you doing? So, hey, how would you like to be Justin Fields now? And you're watching the Chicago Bears do this. So they got Keenan Allen now, and they got DJ Moore. And I had who? Big Sells, IP and Eskins trying to disrupt the truth you speak. Did Howie make a mistake by signing Huff with Reddick still here? 34. Think about what I'm saying to you, though. Okay? Think about what they did. They signed a player on day one, and he is the duplicate of Reddick. And they paid him more, and they gave Reddick the permission to seek a trade. And the year previous, they drafted a guy to take his job. Ace, they're pushing him out the door. I agree, Corey. That was Xander's take. Wait, so you want Bryce Huff to be Reddick, and you have Reddick. Okay. Reddick must be a dick right now with that number. And it's aggravating the Eagles. Just like it aggravated probably when Gardner Johnson wanted $9 million. And look what happened there. Could this be an ego thing from Howie and the owner? That they're pissed off right now? Because it sure looks the same. Xander, am I right? Doesn't it look the same way that they handled the Gardner Johnson deal and how they're handling Reddick? I mean, they got pissed off that Gardner Johnson wanted $9 million. He ended up taking less, I think $1.5 million less in Detroit. And they moved off him. That's kind of what you're seeing here. That he's probably steadfast at $25 million because he sees what everyone else is making. But what he doesn't get, the league doesn't look at him that way. Once you get a stigma on you, you're not going to change it. So you got to tell me, Ace, what they're saying about Reddick and about Huff, because they're lying. Remember, they're mouthpieces for the Eagles, and they'll always be, especially Captain Eskin. Eskin. Captain Eskin is the Pied Piper for the Eagles. He's the mouthpiece. I don't understand how people think the Eagles got bettered, but yet the head coach is still here, and we now forget that high school offense they ran. That's why they brought in Kellen Moore. As a Cowboy fan, Mozzie sucks, dude. Hey, I told you 304. on draft day, that guy's a third rounder at best. I said it on draft day. That guy's not good. I got people telling me that he was going to be a run-stopping demon. And one of the things that the Cowboys struggled at last year mightily, they couldn't stop the run. It was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, and look, I don't care. Think Sills was onto something, but not winning Super Bowl with stars at running back and wide receiver. Dude may be onto something. Even at Super Bowl 52, Eagles had a bunch of low-tier players. Yeah, because you know what they had, JB? They had a balanced roster on that team at 17. That was a balanced roster. I think the 22 roster was better than the 17 roster. I do. I think that 22 roster was as good a football team as the Eagles have ever had. I think Jordan Davis is better than Mozzie. Okay? That's funny. Mozzie and Jordan Davis versus Joey Chestnut. Yeah, my money's on the hot dog eater. Yeah, I'll take the hot dog eater in that one. But Jordan might give him a push for it. Because that guy could, if it's White Castle burgers, Davis wins that. If it's hot dogs, it's going to be Joey Chestnut. Yeah, Chestnut, man. One of the most disgusting things is watching a guy eat 80 hot dogs. I don't know, man. That's not going to look good in the morning. I wouldn't want to be around that. Woo, man. Holy cow. Jesus Christ. You could drop a building with that guy's farts, I bet. Oh, sorry. Hopefully no one's eating anything right now. Oh, man. Yeah, dude. Reddick. Being pushed out by the Eagles. Something I learned today. Two things I learned today. One from Big Bill is that Merrill thinks that they didn't bring in Justin Fields because they were afraid that, I don't know, Fields might look better in the offense than Hurts. And that the Eagles are pushing Reddick out. Okay. Crazy. Okay. Eagles being better in 22 says, yeah, because the coaching stunk. You were a better roster in 22, but your coaches stink. In 17, your coaches were spectacular. Look at Jim Schwartz right now. Jim Schwartz had the number one defense in the NFL. Do you think that's by coincidence or no? Oh, and you guys open with that dude. Whoa. You don't think he's going to want a little ass for the Eagles pushing his ass out the door? He retired. Really? How come he just won the award for the assistant of the year in the NFL? But hey, he retired. Isn't that what was said? Jim Schwartz retired? The Eagles put a big statement out, right? Jim Schwartz is retiring. Right? Hey, wins the NFL Assistant Coach of the Year award. Oh, all right. Okay, Hurts' job won't be in jeopardy. Yeah, it will if he stinks again like he did last year, it will. Not paying $50 million if a guy has 30 turnovers in 2 years. He's not Josh Allen. Remember something, Josh Allen still wins the AFC East 4 years in a row. Okay, I mean, and he finished second in the MVP. Whew. How does a guy have turnovers like that and finish second in the MVP? He has more turnovers. Hey, Xander, think of this one. Everyone. Josh Allen had more turnovers this year in the NFL. He had more turnovers than Hurts, and he finished second in the MVP voting. How's that possible? Because he does more by himself? How's that possible? And get this. Jalen played like Spider Rico at the end of the year. I appreciate everybody hanging with us. I don't know what it is. It's got to be Commie California with the internet, because that probably threw us up a little bit when it came to the interview with O.J. Anderson too. So we apologize and thank you guys for hanging tight with us here. We appreciate it. So David White's press conference. Dean is going to benefit. White likes him. Stevens, who's going to benefit from who? Devin White, who can't tackle, is going to benefit from another guy who can't stay on the field, who can't tackle too. Really? Who benefits what? You're not upgraded. Actually, I'll make a point to you. I personally think your linebacking core is worse this year than it was a year ago. How many people think they upgraded the linebacker position? You think you upgraded the linebacker position? Jalen didn't play good most of the year, not just in the final stretch. Oh, my God, an honest Eagle fan. Stevens goes, we'll see. Do you think right now on March 19th, you have upgraded your linebacking core? Play-by-play says not at this point. What are you waiting for, the draft? So you're going to put a rookie in there with two other guys who can't tackle. Now, if you make a trade, Howie didn't upgrade the linebacker position. Okay? He didn't. And you're getting rid of Reddick. White is going to play like a man possessed. He hasn't in 5 years. I'm disappointed in the Eagles on defense. Okay? They got a luxury running back. Cool. Okay? It's a cool move. But I'm very disappointed. And you got guys on our network and everyone else. This is the greatest offseason. And I'm very disappointed in the defense and what they've done over there. They really, the Sweat move's cool. Gardner Johnson, yes. But the rest of it. And if you get rookies in there, you haven't really done anything but get younger and more inexperienced than you were even a year ago. And you got older on the edge by keeping Graham. Keeping Brandon Graham is even a dumbass move. But like Xander said, hey, he may be the best backup option that they have. So at the end, Xander may be right. Better than anything they could have brought in. Hey, Sills, would you rather go out and sign one of the guys that are out there or have Graham play 20% of the plays? You're right. I'd probably rather have Graham. I'd probably rather have Brandon Graham than signing anybody out there. He's right. Okay, you're right, Flexen. They still don't have his replacement. They really still don't have his replacement yet. Corey goes, Howie buys clearance rack linebackers. Yeah. Hey, let me finish up that one point that I was making about the Bears. So if you're Justin Fields and you're now watching the Bears and what they're doing, they make a trade for Keenan Allen from the Chargers. They have DJ Moore now. They're probably going to draft Caleb Williams, who, my opinion, the things he did in college will not translate to the NFL. I think he's overrated and overhyped. At the end of the day, he's an Oklahoma quarterback. None of those guys are good. And Jalen, in my opinion, is really not an Oklahoma quarterback. He's a Bama QB. Okay? To show you how great he was, he couldn't beat Tua out, but when he got to OU, he became a runner-up in the Heisman Trophy race because he played in the shitty Big 12. Okay? Alabama's second-best quarterback. Think about that. Alabama's second-best quarterback finished runner-up in the Heisman because he left Bama and went to the Big 12. That just tells you how sorry that is. Okay? I mean, the backup quarterback finished second in the Heisman. Okay? because he went to a shitty conference. Okay? Like White, he brought his mom with him to the physical. There's proof he brought his mom? Is that Caleb Williams you're talking? He brought his dad. What does your dad and mom have anything to do with your career? Jesus. Brought his dad and mom? I'm not drafting that dude. If you bring your dad and mom to something like that, to a workout, I'm not drafting that guy. I like people that stand on their own. With the 22nd overall pick in the 2024 draft, Howie Roseman selects Willie One-Eye 3. Oh, man. Okay. So we agree. The one thing we agree on here is that Reddick's being pushed out. And you ask yourself, does losing Reddick help me become more of a Super Bowl contender or not? Okay. Hey, that's a great point, Sean. Just like at Oklahoma, he's focusing on AJ like he did with CeeDee Lamb. It's a great point. That's right. It was all CeeDee Lamb at Norman when Jalen was there. And when Jalen's in Philly, it's all AJ. It absolutely is a great point. It's totally a great point. I like it. I saw the 49ers sign Josh Dobbs. I like the move. They lose Sam Darnold, right? Right? Okay. Anthony goes, CJ Stroud does the same thing. Whatever, man. Everybody's got his own deal. Okay. Not everybody's from like mom, dad, leave it to Beaver and stuff. It's all good. I don't really care about that much. Okay. I don't. I don't care that much about that. But we brought the one topic up earlier about Nick. I'm going to be interested in how Nick runs OTAs and the off-season programs. Who's going to be giving the intel to the players at rookie camp? Is it going to be Kellen or him? And by the way, who do you think really does have the most pressure on him of the new coordinators? Vic or Kellen Moore? Vic has a big job in fixing the holes but see, that's more of a person. Vic can't really change and help the Eagle defense schematically. It's going to be the same shit you ran last year. But wait a minute. Wait a minute, Flexen. He has no say when it comes to the players. Remember what Dave Wanstead said on our program? Hey, Fangio's not going to fail because of the scheme. It's going to be the personnel. So that's going to be more on Howie to turn the team around. You get this. Think about that. Fangio's not going to turn the defense around. Howie has to. Because they're going to do the same shit. Now, on the other hand, Kellen Moore has to figure out how to get the ball to Barkley. Get this. You have to figure out how to get the ball to the third wide receiver. And I think this is priority. Here. It's reversed. I think you have more of a priority to get the ball to wide receiver 3, your tight end, your running back, Devontae, and AJ. I think it's in that order. Some would go, yeah, but wait, aren't you trying to get the most touches to AJ? No, I'm figuring out how to get those other guys involved first. Okay, I've got to get those other guys involved first. Sills, what do you think about Cameron Kitchens from UM. Middle second rounder, top of third, can play. By the way, I think he play right away with Philly. I like the player. 2-time All-American, one of the better safeties. He's not quite Benny Blades, but he's in that room. He's a good football player, man. I really like him. Seals, what other GM tells coaches what? Seals, what other GM tells the coaches what to do? I think the only one that does that is Philly. Let's see. They stopped doing that in Los Angeles with the Chargers. The Cowboys probably do that. They're not doing a lot of moves in that room without Jerry's approval. Jerry can draw it up, but it comes down to Jalen executing it. The moment AJ whines, I want off the team. Haason's too old to be you know what? Hey, I was writing king. It was writing king. I think that's why they want him out. I do. I think that's one of the reasons that they want him out of there is just because of that. Okay, well, he ain't a GM, but Jerry Jones tells his GM what to do. Well, Jerry acts like the GM. Hurts only throws to 2 guys. Absolutely true. That's why I put it in that respected order, my friend, where you got to figure out how to get wide receiver 3 involved. And then you got to get up to the tight end, and then Barkley, and then Devontae, and then AJ. You already know how to get the ball to AJ and Devontae. You got to figure out the other dudes on how to get the ball to them. Because if you can't figure that out, you got a problem here. All right. We will try to catch up with OJ Anderson. That was probably on my end now that we had kind of that glitch. So that was probably a little bit on my end. So we apologize for that. And I appreciate everybody coming aboard here. By the way, please do me a favor. I want to make sure you do this. Our March Madness NCAA tournament, great promotion we have here. Guys, please do me a favor. JAKIB Sports is looking for a select 500 folks of our loyal viewers and subscribers to sign up with our great partner, Underdog Fantasy. Now, the minimum is $10, and $10 gets you matched for another $10. They'll go all the way up to $100. So if you put $100 in, okay, they'll match you $100. So you have $200 to play with during the March Madness tournament, which I will be involved in as well. Remember, Underdog Fantasy will match everything up to $100. Now, here's the key. See that promo code down there? Promo code is WIN, W-I-N. That is W-I-N. And that's how you become part of this. You know, people were going to say we're going to do 1,000. I said, let's do 500 and let's see how this thing goes. And all you're really doing is signing up. You put $10 in, they match it. So they're kind of hooking you up here. You're not really losing. I don't think you can lose here because the tournament's always a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody. Patience with the connection. Thank you guys so much. We'll try to get OJ on tomorrow. Big Joe, Xander, thank you. I appreciate it. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.